It all seems so simple. Play your cards well, don't get too unlucky, and move on to the next day. But everyone left is using that formula.
Wow, good cards.
Play my cards as they come and not do anything stupid.
Get excited, but not too excited. Focus back in and just do what I gotta do.
So today might be the day to change it up.
Oh my God.
Strategies constantly need to shift and change with the way that the players are reacting.
There's always something that comes out of left field that you're like, wow, I've never seen that before, and that's what keeps it interesting.
Did I look surprised?
Get creative, think out of the box, ditch your comfort zone.
Still a sweat, right?
It might be the only way to make it to November.
Event, a field of 6,737 players down to just 80.
Day 6. This is getting fun. Feeling good. Ready to rock.
Am I actually on day 6 of this tournament? I've been in the same tournament for a week now. I can't believe this is real.
Oh, it's real, Jason, and so is the $8 million that will go to this year's champion.
Knock some fools out.
Come on, England. Oi, oi. Booyah.
Fun trip. Day 6, I don't know, I'll flop cards again, I'll do it again, I don't really care. I can do it.
Dan Colman has to be one of the favorites with his stack and his experience.
From white t-shirt to white collared shirt, this guy really can do it all.
The tournament's chip leader, 34-year-old Jerry Wong.
This fella's ahead of the curve. He moved from New York to Florida before his AARP card came.
The leaderboard is as diverse as they come. 7 different countries represented, but U.S. up on top.
Lon, I'm not going to talk leaderboards. The only one that matters is at the pearly gates, and I'm not even going to see that one.
Kenny Hallaert is 3rd in chips and in great shape for an even deeper run.
He's a poker tournament director. What an advantage. He knows where all the chips are kept.
And there is Will Kassouf, the player everyone's talking about.
They're talking about him because he never stops talking. He has no off button.
First-timer Andrew Christoforou has 6.4 million chips.
And he knows chips, particularly fish and chips.
The table sets up nicely for the big stacks, evenly spaced and with decent chips around them.
Kenny Hallaert has Will Kassouf in the 1 seat, which is good for his stack and for his ears.
For Kassouf, a good position at the table with medium stacks as far as the eye can see.
Because he talks so much, we do lose sight of just how many chips he has, over 100 big blinds, like a boss.
Hey, James, by the way?
Jason.
Jason, sorry.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Whereabouts you from then?
Newcastle. But I'm at uni in Manchester.
Oh, okay, Newcastle.
23-year-old Brit Jason McConnon making a nice rookie showing in the main event. He's got some audio-visual aids, it looks like.
I can just look at
You can't look at them during their hand, though.
Yeah, you can.
Not during their hands.
You can?
No.
Just find out.
What's that?
It says I can't look at these during the hand, but I can. There's no rule against it. I actually like them more than that. You can't go on your phone in hand, but you can look at
I don't think they want you looking down because it means you could be looking at your phone. But
No, I'm looking at paper.
Who is that?
Folded to Jason. Ace of diamonds, Queen of hearts.
Kenny Hallaert telling him he can't look at that paper during the hand, and he seems helpless without that paper.
Kenny knows he's a Belgian poker tournament director.
Hold on, oh, I want a ruling for this.
Get one.
He's wanting a ruling.
He has papers here saying which
Find
cards
the
he
rule
needs
that
to
I'm not allowed to
play,
look at these.
and he's looking at his cards, then he's looking at the papers.
Yeah.
We got a question from the players. This gentleman has his little cheat sheet.
Not a cheat sheet.
With percentages and so forth. They want to know if he's allowed to use it here or not.
You are.
So listen, the way that any of those things are working, it's just like anything else. While you're in a hand, you can't use any kind of tools. You can't use any aids, anything like that. When you're out of the hand, you're more than welcome to reference anything that you have, your notes or anything like that, but not during the play of hands.
Okay.
Okay? So, yeah.
Pretty sure that's wrong.
McConnon disagrees with the ruling. By the way, my cheat sheet says ace-queen equals Skid Row.
McConnon sat down just a nickel shy of $2 million. A raise to $160,000. Folding around the table to the button, Kaquan Lau, Hong Kong resident, 9-5. Kassouf in the small blind, folds to the big blind, Adi Abu Ghazal, pocket tens.
Which have like 2 million?
Abou-Ghazal, 38-year-old LA amateur. His brother Ezra also cashed in this main event, 551st place.
The real estate investor calls for 80,000 more.
Ace-queen with a chart is an underdog to pocket tens without a chart.
The first hand of a brand new day of the main event, day 6. Here is the flop. And Abou-Ghazal with a set of tens, top pair, top kicker for McConnon. It's check to him. 135,000, thinking, hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey is not the right thing to think.
Abou-Ghazal with lavenders. That's a check raise to 535.
Now, all the sunglasses, hoodies, and charts in the world cannot protect you from ace-queen. It's like a horror film when you have ace-queen.
Abou-Ghazal's got him right where he wants him.
I'm all in.
Cool.
All in, snap call, McConnon at risk and way behind.
Well, in this situation, the chart says call Uber for a ride back to hotel.
McConnon at risk, ace-queen might be his undoing here, Norman.
Not been needing these.
Oh, you never know.
McConnon can put away his laminated charts and wait for the turn to come out.
Abou-Ghazal in great shape for the knockout.
Out.
Broadway draw for McConnon.
McConnon, though, takes one last sip of water before Abou-Ghazal squashes the last breath of life out of him.
The river card. No king, it's a 4. McConnon dumps his last $2 million into the pot with top pair and comes up short.
He was a kid with a chart, but he could be one of my redhead dream teamers in 2017.
Gone on hand 1 of day 6. McConnon wins almost 81,000.
Good luck, everyone.
Abou-Ghazal, born in Israel, now lives in LA. He has over 5 million chips to invest as he pleases. Let's get it down to Kara Scott.
Talking about the actual first hand of the day, what was your interpretation of the rule about being able to consult a shove chart?
Well, I thought that you were allowed to, but you aren't, so whatever. I can just look at them, not when I'm not in a hand, but when I'm in a hand I can't, but I guess that makes sense.
Can you speak about the experience of being able to come in and going all the way through to day 6?
Yeah, it's been pretty good, so I can't really complain about the bad hand at the end because I've run pretty good so far, so it's what it is. It's all good.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
If you hang around poker long enough, you will hear people talking about what the correct play is in certain situations. Jason McConnon, by attempting to use a so-called shove chart or cheat sheet, was hoping to make the correct play with his short stack. Norman, I'm sure you have a lot of bottled up thoughts about this.
What happened to trusting your gut? What happened to instinct? What happened to poker? This game is a battle of wits, not a battle of who can write the most info on a piece of paper and follow it. This isn't your 10th grade chemistry class. Jason McConnon might be a perfectly nice redheaded kid who cares deeply about climate change. But the World Series of Poker got this one right. No cheat sheets during a hand. That would be like me using a teleprompter while I'm talking here. Oh, damn it! It just went blank.
You fix this?
Let's return to the action on the floor.
Dan Colman back in the limelight this year.
He shunned the media after winning the big one for one drop, but seems more at ease these days.
Tony Bracey, an above-average stack to begin the day.
His wife is a doctor. He's in real estate. They live in California. Plus, he's got the look.
3 chips in play, the orange 5K, the green 25K, and the lavender 100K. Back to the featured table. The hits keep coming. Another player all in. 30-year-old Roman Soibelman, 3-bet shove with jacks. Hong Kong pro Kakwon Lau called him with ace-queen suited.
Lon, I don't need to tell you what the chart says about pocket jacks.
Well, it's the evil matchup of our nightmares. Jacks versus ace-queen. Like Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice. It may look good, but it's nasty. The jacks are still good for Soibelman.
Soibelman dropped out of med school, and as a result, he is all in with pocket jacks against Lau.
Comes 7 of spades on the turn. 7 of spades.
Kassouf loves to call cards. 4 of spades.
Oh, great. He's got an
Extra outs.
We had this exact situation yesterday, and somebody goes, it was 9s versus ace-queen, and it was 4-4-4, and the guy goes, oh, there's a 4 out.
It's a 5 of diamonds on the rear.
All right, I like you.
It looks close. It looks like it's a 5. One time.
And the river card. Bingo! Lau Rivers the winner. Pocket jacks once again confirmed as the worst hand in poker.
Yeah, ace-queen only wins against pocket jacks. Sorry, Roman.
Jacks in the main event claim another victim. Just before the break, Roman Soibelman, with one of the more elegant names in the game, eliminated in 77th place. Eliminated by that man, Kakwon Lau, a 30-year-old poker pro living in Hong Kong. His friends call him Kaju.
This is what I'm missing in life, a good nickname. Lon, any suggestions?
Yeah, the crew and I actually have a nickname for you. We call you Cuzzy.
Cuzzy? Why?
It came from never loan Norman money because he won't pay you back.
Good for you.
Lau with ace-8 of diamonds.
He was fourth at the 2013 EPT Prague main event. That was worth $388,000.
He began this day 6 with $3.9 million. Begins this hand with $5.2 million. There's a raise to $180,000. Folded around to Carlton Tarter, 50-year-old amateur from Maryland.
CPA, works for the Securities and Exchange Commission. Yeah, he's with the feds.
Ace-Queen. He's on the button.
Ace-Queen on the button. You're going to play it.
No, he's going to fold.
Oh, smart man.
He has read your thesis on Ace-Queen in the small blind. Andrew Christoforou, one of our first-timers from London, 4-tray off.
Well, if I'm in the kitchen for 12 hours cooking fish and chips and I get 4-tray in the small blind, I'm playing it. You get itchy for action standing over a deep fryer all day.
This is the main event. Ace-Queen folds the button. 4-tray wants to play from the worst position at the table.
Okay, it's the bizarro main event.
I guess so. Heads up, here's the flop. 9, deuce, deuce, 2 diamonds. Cristoforou's second best, newsflash.
Well, absolutely nothing there for Cristoforo. But after filling your 100th order of fish and chips in one day, you can't wait to bluff a pot in the main event with 4-3 off.
And the paired board might help with this charade. $180,000.
Lau knows that even if Cristoforo has a random 9 or worse, even a deuce, he's still got flush outs.
Ace-high with the flush draw, big favorite. Lau will come along. I don't think Cristoforo liked that call. Turn card now. 4 of spades. Cristoforo now turns a pair.
Yeah, and when you hit your best possible card on the turn, you start dreaming about winning the main event, selling the fish and chips joint, and opening a sushi restaurant.
Cristoforo with a bet of $425 on the turn.
Lau knows that 4 on the turn changed nothing, so he's in the same spot as before. A flush probably wins this thing, and he's getting the right price to call here.
With his draw and his 2 overs to his opponent's cards, though he doesn't know that much, he does make the call.
I like Andrew, but I think he's probably better in the kitchen than in the card room.
River card now is another 9, so Cristoforo's hand is best.
Double paired board. It's possible Lau will call another bet here.
He does have ace-high with the 2 pair on board. A check from Cristoforo. And a check back.
4.
And it plays.
Lau will not be eating at any of Cristoforo's fish and chips establishments anytime soon.
Cristoforo showing his creative side to this table.
Looks like a nuts.
Let's go.
That's a nuts. Big hand. Could have all gone in pre-flop, right? You got 3 pairs as well?
I misread my hand.
We got 3 pairs?
I misread it.
Mate, you're the best.
No, I misread
it. Wait, when's your book coming out?
Shut up.
You're
just after yours.
World Series main event? Mate, this is it.
Just after yours.
I misread my hand. Is that what you're going to say? When you're on the picture? Sorry, guys. I'm all in.
Just after yours.
Sorry, I misread my hand. Oh, was that a gut shot in the river? Sorry.
An honest mistake from one of our first-timers?
Maybe. What a moody. Look at this angle. I misread my hand. You knew you had 4-3 double suited.
I'm happy to be here. Tired, but excited.
Obviously, for any poker player, making November 9 is one of the greatest, if not the greatest achievements. But I'm not thinking about it right now.
I got to go back to the tables, but yeah.
Slept better than I thought. we're waking up for day. I'm ready to focus for sure. Yeah. if I were to sum up my emotions, I honestly could not put it into words. All my friends are going nuts. All my family's going nuts. And honestly, it's incredible to have this much support going on to day 6. I've been taking this tournament one day at a time, being prepared to be knocked out at any point, and I'm still taking that approach. So whatever happens, happens.
My name is Mike Shan, and I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I own like a couple of cell phone stores. I'm 28. I've been playing seriously since I was 21, so I usually don't play that many tournaments, but this year I was in Vegas, so I decided to play. I'm just trying to go deep as I can. I slept around 3 a.m. A lot of texts and calls, wishing me good luck, so I appreciate the support. The goal is trying to make day 7 and trying to win the whole thing. That's the goal. But I know how hard it is to get here, so I'm just gonna try and do the best I can.
Best I've slept so far, actually. I've got 4 hours, which is breaking it by about doubles. I'm just super tuned in. I'm thinking about nothing but poker right now. Anything that comes into my brain, I throw it out straight away. Home, business, whatever it is. I say no, I'm on it. Poker, that's it.
Chris Moneymaker was a first-timer. That worked out pretty darn well.
It worked out pretty darn well for a lot of people, and Norman and I thank you, Chris. Shin sitting at the chip leaders table as he chips up. Mike now will count out almost 8.4 million chips. Jerry Wong, the man to beat at the moment, 34-year-old poker pro with a business degree. That is one tough table out there. All right, let's move around from the outer tables and check on the bewhiskered Alex Keating. Alex right now with an above-average stack, too. At his table, 64-year-old attorney Andrew Sage from Briarcliff Manor, New York.
Briarcliff Manor? That sounds out of my price range.
Sage with queens against Vornaku's kings. They'll see a flop, all undercards.
Sage is a criminal defense attorney, but right now he has no defense against pocket kings.
The queens love the board, the kings love the board. 425 from Sage. Sage opened the action pre-flop. Vornaku with the kings just called him. But now Vornaku comes to life with a raise to $1,075,000.
Sage still has nearly 2.9 million chips behind, as you see next to his name. That's a decent stack.
All in.
It's all in the middle now, Norman.
Aces, really?
It also could be a set of 10s.
I can't fold this hand.
He does call.
No, queens.
Sage in trouble.
Oh, you got the cards that I had last time.
Yeah, just bad luck for the 64-year-old amateur.
Vornaku in line to scoop a really nice pot. So Sage looking for help. His queen's way behind. The 4 doesn't do anything for him.
Sage has to see a river queen.
The river. Another 4. The queens proved to be the undoing of Andrew Sage.
He's a trial lawyer. He knows you can't win them all.
Sage cashes for the 3rd time in the main event. This by far his deepest run in the tournament. Vornaku over 11 million now.
Take care. Good luck, everybody. Take care.
I just 3-bet him, and I figured if I 3-bet him again...
Are you flatting me if I squeeze?
You?
Yeah.
He's not flatting you. He's gonna go all in.
Okay, I don't make these kind of observations.
The main event continues to be the greatest poker spectacle on the planet. This year's field of 67-37, the 5th largest in history. Just 9 tables are left in the Amazon room.
8 of the 73 players left are from the UK. The Empire strikes back. And just a reminder that November 9 plays out starting on October 30th.
New Yorker Jared Blesnick, one of many talented pros still in the field. Like most New Yorkers, he's not afraid to speak his mind.
Honestly, I don't like a lot of the people that are involved in poker. I wish it was, because poker is a very, it's a very selfish game. And I would say a lot of the people I don't really get along great with because it's, everyone's just about themselves. And, but for the most part, I like a lot about the game. I don't think I'll ever see Tom just find a 6-bet shove with 8-5 suit. I just don't think he'll do it.
You never know with this guy.
Should maybe 5-bet shove, 8-5 suit earlier.
I'm serious. I just don't believe in it. And maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't. I think it's fine to play solid poker.
Just young guys. Johnny Chan busted by shoving.
I was sitting next to him, 8-5 offsuit, but he was on the button.
He was so tilted being on your table.
I was sitting next to him, and he sat there folding every hand. And then all of a sudden he wakes up at 8-5 offsuit, and he's got to just move it all in.
He does that in cash too.
He does that in cash.
Raise it again. Raise it again.
180 from Blesnick.
I'm trying to steal the best player in the world's big blind. Let's see if I have a real hand or not.
James Opes in the small blind. Tom Marchese in the big.
I'm trying to play pots with Tom Marchese. That's really smart of me. Even,
you convinced me.
I'm serious. You guys can see the hands on TV. You can see it.
You either like Jared or you don't like him. I usually like him.
Let's go down to Kara Scott now for an update from the main event floor.
The The World Series of Poker Main Event is the premier poker tournament of the year, and with so many players, not everyone can boast a deep run. In fact, some of our best players left in the field now. This is their first cash in the main event despite multiple tries. Dan Colman tried 5 times before cashing. Max Silver and Jason Les each have 6 under their belt, and Tom Marchese and Tony Gregg each tried 8 times before cashing, and they have a combined income of over $25 million for live tournament earnings.
I know the feeling. I've never cashed, for instance, in the Tour de France, and I can bike.
Blesnik opened for 180 again, but this time Marchese came along, though he is dominated. Broadway draw for both.
Deal.
Check, check.
Turn card. A 5. Marchese drawing dead to win, but he can chop.
Deal.
Check, check.
Free river card. Marchese's going to take a shot. 350.
Blesnik opened the door for Marchese to try this by telling the dealer to deal after the flop on the turn. A bet either time probably would have ended the hand.
Blesnik with a pair of queens. And that'll win it.
10 high.
Good call. No wonder he said deal.
Jared Blesnik takes a bit more than the blinds and antes, that time from the best player around.
Yeah, Blesnik loves raking in Tom Marchese chips.
Jared still with one of the biggest stacks in the room.
Deal. Deal.
The good news for Blesnik is you don't have to like everyone to win their chips. Day 6 just underway, but we've lost 7 players. We're down to 73. One player receiving the lion's share of attention this year is Will Kassouf, but not for all the right reasons, and he's not alone in that regard.
That's how you handle the big stack bully. You pop him right back.
You're alone in a room. Do you just sit there and talk to yourself?
Now that we got your opinion, the only thing I'm lacking is your chips. Thanks for playing.
That's Bush League.
Any pot. Blind, I'm going to call. Because I'm going to stack you. Gone.
He flops 3 aces. He has 160,000 chips left. That's 1 big blind and change. He's tanking with top set because we're on a money bubble. If this is part of the game should be changed.
Dan puts them all in.
This would be some Kentucky justice I've ever seen.
Kentucky justice? Come on. You're an arrow on me, dude.
So Smith will go heads up against the aces again. The 6-8 ace a set for Kaiser. The king saves Smith once more as he hits his straight.
Kentucky justice delayed is not Kentucky justice denied.
I can't be stared at for 5 minutes. Make a decision. I'm sorry, I can't handle it.
Could you not announce the cards when I'm in position, please?
Is this against?
You can't do that.
This is really,
Like, that's actually not legal.
Call.
Oof. You are the most disgusting human being in the world.
2 threes?
Of course.
Pick one.
Kidding. Joke. Oh my God. I don't do handshakes, people.
I always got it. The coconuts. You haven't got the heart to call. I got it. I got you beat. I got the nerves. Keeping it friendly. That's what it's a friendly table.
This is not friendly.
9 high like a boss. And if they don't like it, then that's their prerogative. Taunting our player. They don't know the meaning of taunting. You got limits. That's unfortunate. It happens, yeah. That's unfortunate.
By the way, I don't do handshakes, people, has become my calling card.
We'll keep it here at Kassouf's table. He's in the big blind. Andrew Christoforou looks down at king, queen of diamonds from the hijack position. 2 off the button. I don't think he misread his hand that time. He raises to 210.
Christoforou is enjoying himself so much at this main event, and you've got to root for him. And by the way, it doesn't surprise me one bit that Andrew loves go-karting.
Not at all. Lau with ace-10.
Lau loves snowboarding. We got a go-karter and a snowboarder.
Not part of your milieu?
I don't know what that means, but I do enjoy online snowboarding.
Why are you taking my big blind?
It's on the cameras.
I'm going to see it on TV, right?
You'll see it. Yeah, go and ask them. Who's
You going to go out this end?
Shut up.
Come on, man.
I think I'm you.
You've enjoyed your time at the WSOP, right?
Loved it.
You had a great time?
Loved it.
It's the taking part that counts, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's have a look.
Right then. Take your time.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to have a look. I don't want to make a mistake like you. I don't want to misread my hand. No, still there. I got it.
Okay.
Still. Have you looked at both or just one? Seriously, you misread your hand last time. Take you out and you haven't looked at your chips.
Floor.
Shut up.
His influence in play.
He's taking the piss. Don't start. I'll have to knock you out.
Be careful, you might get a penalty.
Hang on, was it 210? I'll show you a penalty in the car park.
I guess if you love the sound of your own voice, you never stop talking. Kassouf turns folding into a floor show.
I'm giving you credit this time. Go on.
Had enough camera time, ain't you?
Let's see it then.
Who's posting it?
Show one. I'm giving you credit. You might as well show one.
It's too good to show.
Too good to show. Unbelievable. You didn't even look at the other one, did you? Just saw an ace and thought, yes, and nuts. All in good time. Yeah, change the dealer so he's stopped misreading his ends. Unbelievable.
It's like the 90 on a Tuesday night, isn't it?
Right. It's going to be a long day for some, not so long for others, eh?
First-timer Cristoforo played a few early World Series events, got crushed, flew back to London, and then figured, I got to play the main event, and then came back here and entered just before the deadline. He'll fold. On to Kenny Hallaert, the Belgian poker tournament director. He gives it up to Wes Brockhoff, 67-year-old psychologist from Austin, Texas. Queen 10 of clubs.
And he's the oldest player left in the field.
Below average stack of 2.6 million.
I don't mind if he takes his time.
Doc Brockhoff with a raise to 175. Lau now. Folds Queen 7 to Will Kassouf on the button. Ace Queen.
How much do you have to start the hand? Roughly?
Good answer.
All the lavenders are there, right? 410.
He loves to raise. If he could, he would 3 and 4 bet in one turn. Around to the big blind, Phil Postma. He folds.
I'm not making a move on the button. Go big end, legit. But I'll keep it friendly because we just started. If you fold and show, I'll show. I'll keep it friendly. Don't want you thinking I'm stealing on the button. If I had a mediocre hand, I'll flatten position.
Actually, Kassouf's speech play all boils down to repeating, I believe, 13 different lines.
I admire your spirit, though. You haven't folded yet. It's Texas Hold'em, not fold'em. Playing the true spirit of the game. I like it. But you're behind at the moment. That's all I'm saying.
Correction. It might be 14 different lines.
Is the doctor going to raise or hand out his business card?
Take your time. There's no rush. Got another hour and 20 minutes to play this hand so the blinds go up. So, well, hour and 19 now, but plenty of time.
Call.
Good call. Unlucky on the flop.
If Kassouf wants him to act faster, he might stop talking to let his opponent make a decision harassment-free.
Will has been warned about talking at his opponents while they have a decision, but he continues. The flop, 9-8 king. Brockhoff with a gut shot.
Checks. Was that a trap check or you just missed the flop? Just gonna double check. I don't want to misread my hand. Hang on. Still there. Seemed like a nice guy. Give him a free card. Let him catch up.
Free turn card. A 7. Brockhoff with a two-way straight draw now. Ace high, though, is still best for Kassouf. A check from Brockhoff.
Oh, still trapping? Scary board now. Straight draw, 2 flush draws.
I'll show you a scary board, son, if you want to step outside.
One more time.
All right, free river card. Kassouf has the best hand with just ace high.
Oh, I like this. Put the talker to the test.
Yeah, that's it. A bit more, a few more. Otherwise, I might have to call. That's enough. Yeah, that's fantastic. Great bet. Yeah, great. How much?
500,000.
500.
Post-flop, Kassouf has played this hand as if he's behind. This might get through. Brockhoff making America great again.
Well, you either had me anyway, the pocket tens, or you got lucky and hit the king. So, I just think you got tens. Okay. I'll lay it down, but I'll show you how to begin.
Brockhoff takes the pot.
Show the bluff, good for the game. For the fans back home, no? Wow. Nice hand.
Brockhoff shows nothing but a smile.
Like a good psychologist, Brockhoff let his customer do 99% of the talking, taking 100% of the proceeds.
the best poker content on the internet.
Your super high rollerball 7 champion.
Oh yeah!
Wheels are coming off.
That's the craziest hand I've ever seen. What was that bite?
Go to get.pokergo.com/YT24 for $20 off a new annual subscription.
Welcome back to the Rio All Suite Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. We check in now with Mr. Austin, Texas, Alex Keating.
What's your name?
I forgot my name.
I love him already.
We played the other day. Justy Kumar.
Huh?
Justy Kumar. We played the other day at Planet Hollywood.
Planet Hollywood?
We did. You forgot my name. I told you all already.
Oh, that's right. You busted really quick. You played bad.
You did, not me.
Alex has an odd way of making friends.
Nice to see you again, Justy.
Thanks. Nice to see you too.
How the are you still in this?
Oh boy, the main event. You gotta love it. 68 players are still in this one. The average stack almost 5 million. We head to an outer table in the white shirt. Dan Colman has aces. He saw Tony Bracey, also in a white shirt, open to 170 with pocket eights.
The man in white against the man in white?
The man in white against the man in white. Dan Colman with a 3-bet to 465. We saw one of our first-timers, Mitch Watson, fold. Back now to Bracey.
Bracey, a Sacramento realtor, played semi-pro baseball for the Sacramento Smokies.
Great name. Bracey with the eights makes the call for 295 more.
His friend Tommy Vitas, who finished 19th of the 09 main event, told Bracey not to play many pots today because he's at a tough table. So here he is mixing it up with Dan Colman.
Almost even stacks. Colman with the slight edge. All hearts on the flop. Colman has the only heart in the hole. Colman took the lead pre-flop and looks like he wants to continue. That's 330,000 with his aces.
I think Bracey's got the look. I love his look, but he's also got a one-outer here. Both players in good shape, over 60 big blinds.
And there is a call.
See Coleman's earbud? It's not even in his ear. He pretends to listen to music, but he hears what everyone is saying about him.
He's just bluffing with the earbuds. Wow, I love that. Turn card now, Jack of clubs. Coleman still best. He checks this time.
Colman may be looking to induce Bracey to offer at it. Bracey 182nd at the 2010 main event.
Bracey checks back. River card now. The 8 of spades, a winning set for Bracey. That was the one card in the deck that wins the hand.
That confirms there is an 8 of spades in the deck, Lon. And Colman, understandably, is going to put in a value bet here, but it's going to work out about as well as my value bet marriage proposal in 1993.
925,000 cost you both about the same, I think, right?
No, he's got the better deal.
Yeah. Bracey now.
Will Tony Bracey pop it?
Nope. Colman shows the aces. Bracey, the better hand.
Ouch.
Colman hates to see that. Bracey takes one from a top player, pumps his fist and pumps his stack.
Better to be lucky than good. Lon and I, of course, often are both. This is a tough table. Dietrich Fast, Per Linda, Cliff Josephy. No one minds seeing Dan Colman with fewer chips.
Colman still with 51 big blinds, but that one had to sting a bit. Earlier, we had a chance to speak with Tony Bracey about what you were talking about, Norman, his day 6 table draw.
I think Dan Colman, he's playing pretty well. It's a couple, I don't know the other guys, but one guy got busted. I mean, it's just bananas, you know what I mean? I mean, you just need to catch your hand. I mean, these guys are shoving with 10-9. The guy shoved all in with 10-9 off. I mean, I'm just kind of like in the zone. I haven't really had a chance to like let it all soak in. Everyone's like, oh, you know, can you believe? Yeah, I mean, I'm just focused. I want the prize. I want to win, you know, so I don't want to let it all soak in yet, not just yet.
Tony Bracey loves talking smack, and he's got some talking chips now.
Indeed. This high-powered table has a lot of fans around here watching these guys in action.
I'll tell you a funny story. I was in...
if it was a lavender, would you have jumped?
I'll tell you a funny story. I was in Hamburg playing at the casino, and they've used 10 euro chips and 100 euro chips. They're dark blue 10 euro chips and black 100 euro chips. So I'm going through my stack, and this guy puts €1,000 in on the river, and I'm looking at my stack, and I'm counting it to see how much I'm up. And then I find these 4 black chips. I'm like, it's destiny, I have to call. I never knew I had this. I had 4 black dirty stuff. Call, he's got the nuts.
Griffin Benger doing a little yoga on the sidelines to avoid hearing another Mitch Watson story.
Oh, so while I'm around, Lon, that's why you do yoga.
A lot. Are these guys watching Griffin? No, they are watching as Per Linda with pocket kings is hoping to score the knockout of Sergei Rachak, who called all in with just pocket tens.
Rachak, 26-year-old Spanish pro living in London.
The all-important flop. And there's a 10 for Rachak, crushing the kings now of Per Linda.
Yeah, big blow to the Swedish pro's stack. Linda just has to bear it.
Turn card. 6 of hearts. Per Linda has seen this scenario before, no doubt, but familiarity does not lessen the sting.
Linda needs a king to fight back and knock out Rachak.
It's a 4 on the river, completing the double up for Rachak, giving him nearly $5 million.
Great fortune for Rachak, and now under 30 big blinds for Per Linda.
Indeed, Per Linda losing a bit more than half of his chips. He'll now work with 28 big blinds to be exact. Before play began today, we spoke to Per about dealing with the ups and downs of a poker tournament.
You know, that's just poker. Things do change really quickly in poker, and you just have to be prepared for that. Anything can happen at any time, and I think I'm pretty good at focusing and just playing right now and not thinking too much about how big a thing it is to run deep in the main event or the money that's on the line.
Per in trouble again with queens. He called the all-in of Mitch Watson, who has kings. Linda has Watson barely covered in chips.
Linda just got unlucky with kings. Now he must get lucky against kings. Watson at risk.
The flop is bleakness ×3 for Per Linda and his queens.
Yeah, 2 big hands here are going to put Linda on the brink. Watson in great shape for the double up.
Mitch's mom taught him draw poker at an early age, 6 years old. Turn card is a 9, changes nothing. Watson still best.
The school teacher still good. Linda needs a queen and a queen only to knock out Mitch Watson.
The river card is paint but a jack.
The 5-jump kangaroo celebration is warranted. On the other hand, Per Linda will not be jumping out of his seat.
Watson can't act like he's been here before because he never has.
It did not take long for Per Linda to unluckily go from 50 big blinds to 1.
Mitch's mom sees him pump his stack to $3.3 million almost now to extend his rookie run. Mitch Watson with a critical double up early on day 6. The story of this first-timer continues. The main event can change in a hurry. Mitch Watson back in the hunt, while Per Linda victimized by pocket kings twice.
Take heart, Per Linda. Greg Merson was down to 2 big blinds on day 5 of the 2012 main event. It still won.
And now Linda all in against Dietrich Fast Kings. Linda with ace-10. 1 card to come. The river. Jack of diamonds, the free fall complete for Per Linda.
3 big hands in a row. Bang, 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 bust. Hate to see him go a class act.
To have worked so hard over 5+ days only to see it unravel in short order.
Dietrich Fast also a class act, but he doesn't care about the carnage in his wake.
No sitting still for the Austrian resident Fast. He has only 16 big blinds. For Per Linda, well done, sir. I'm sure we'll see you back here next year.
I hope Per remembers to cash out before he goes back to class. He has a macroeconomics midterm in 2 hours.
As noted by Linda's payout figure, the field recently got a raise. 67 now left in this World Championship of No Limit Texas Hold'em. Get back to the featured table. Wes Brockhoff on the button, looks down at, oh, sorry, Doc, 2 jacks.
Brockhoff says he likes to fish, hunt, and surf. I hope he means channel surfing.
And the psychologist raises to 175,000. Lau folds.
Standard button raise, right? Any 2?
And welcome back to the Will Kassouf Hour.
Kassouf with kings.
Are you just gambling with the nuts today?
He's like, no, I'm pretty sure I feel that.
Let me ask you one question. You want to play a big pot or small pot? It's up to you. Depending on the answer as to how I play this hand. Big pot or small pot? If you don't say anything, I'm going to have to raise you.
Kassouf does his thing, whether he has a big hand or a small hand.
Oh, I think I'm ahead then. You look nervous.
Is this going to happen every time?
Yeah.
Let's find out where I am. Raise it up. You got it, you got it.
That's a re-raise to 530.
Like a boss. Now talk to me. Big hand or button raise? Standard button raise. Standard button raise, yeah? Don't fold just yet. You have to make it look like you've got a big hand before you lay it down. Take your time. Take your time. Big hand here.
Mullen.
Cool.
Yep. And the kings could spell doom for Brockhoff.
Brockhoff began this hand with nearly 40 big blinds. They are in jeopardy now.
Hold. Come on.
Let me say this. I love table talk, but I still think it's inappropriate when you keep talking while your opponent is making a decision.
Jacks versus kings.
Any king of spades about, Eli? Is there king of spades in the deck? That will help.
And new rule effective immediately. No calling for cards if you're ahead.
I'll take it.
We've got to make it exciting.
Please, brick, 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 followed by brick, brick. Thank you, ship, see open. That's it. Very simple, just like that. Mark, one burn card, brick, brick, brick. Burn, brick, brick. That's it. Very simple, easy game.
I have to have at least some sweat, I mean.
No, please,
it's not exciting.
Kenny,
I mean, this is
please.
TV. This is TV.
Please.
This is TV. At least the queen 10 flop, come on.
There it is.
Here's the flop. Oh my, set over set.
Set up. And it's set up. Hey, you want to run it once or twice? Once or twice. I'll give you the option. Once or twice. Once, I hold. Once, I hold. It's up to you. Once. Just
the
once.
other guy's all in. Kassouf's act has no boundaries. If looks could kill, this would be a justifiable homicide.
9 on the river. You can't make it up. Here we go. 7 on the turn.
The doctor
right,
needs
quads.
quads.
Spades, I think it is. I think 7. Oh, 8. Sorry, I was close. I misread it. Sorry. Okay. And the last one looks like a small one. 5 of hearts. 5 of hearts. 5 of hearts. Thank you.
Take it 6.
Thank you. 5 of hearts. Thank you. Nice. There we go. And brick.
It's a queen. Kassouf scores another big pot.
I like it, man.
Jacks score another victim.
Thank you.
Wes Brockhoff with a nice run here, 67th place, winning him almost $97,000.
I go back and forth on Kassouf, but at this point, they would line up around the block to see this fella knocked out.
Kassouf over $10.5 million now. Wes Brockhoff with an impressive finish, but even the doctor couldn't find a cure for the mind-numbing pain that is pocket jacks. Welcome back to Las Vegas. 3-day ones, 2-day twos, a day 3, 4, and...
We've seen nearly all of these guys play a hand here, and there's one very obvious conclusion to draw. This is not Fashion Week at the Rio.
Kenny Hallaert's profession certainly helps with his deep run.
I'm not a fully professional poker player. I'm actually a tournament director for poker tournaments. So my profession still is close to my biggest passion, poker. I love organizing tournaments. I always loved organizing other events before I got into poker. After I got the passion for poker and the love for organizing events, I combined basically those two together, and now I'm running poker tournaments in Belgium and some of them outside of Belgium in Europe. You're kind of a referee, of course, and like in any other sports, you will have people that are against you. But as long as you make the decisions in the best interest and fairness of the game, then it's all good for me. Maybe one of the most difficult parts of a tournament director are maybe the long hours, but sometimes the players are already complaining if they have to be playing for 10 hours, but sometimes they don't take into account that as a tournament director, a couple of hours before the start of the tournament, you're already there, and 1 hour after the tournament is done, you're usually still there, arranging stuff and preparing all the other things for the next day. So sometimes it can be long hours, but I love doing my job, so I don't mind having a couple of nights with few sleep.
Hallaert played in the first ever live poker tournament in Belgium in 2005. By 2009, he was a poker tournament director.
He's got the action. I guess it's King's Day here at the main event. Jeff Hakeem opened for $180,000 with jacks. And there's just a call from Hallaert.
Tournament directors can make a difference. Back when we first broadcast the World Series in '03, Matt Savage, now a Poker Hall of Fame nominee, was tournament director here. He was terrific. Nowadays, we are blessed with Jack Effel, who is also terrific.
Abaguzal folds the 7-deuce suited. Phil Postma, main event rookie from Fort Lauderdale. 9 tray into the muck. Carlton Tartar in the big blind.
Carlton Tartar's hairstylist has been on medical leave since 2011. Carlton's pretty loyal. He won't cut his hair until his guy gets back.
Queen 9 offsuit. He's got the short stack here, but he will make that call for 100 grand. Three-way flop. Hakeem and Hallaert are very good friends, and they will take on the amateur Carlton Tartar. Here is the flop. 10, king, ace, a set of kings for Hallaert, Tartar, and Hakeem with gut shots. Tartar checks.
Hakeem, 29-year-old Lebanese poker pro and investor, born in Pittsburgh. He grew up in Lebanon before coming back to attend the University of Pittsburgh.
This is becoming a clinic, as though we needed one, on how you should just fold jacks pre-flop. Hakeem check to Hallaert.
I don't think you can slow play a set of kings with all those big cards on this board. You don't want somebody stumbling into a Broadway straight for free.
Kenny does have chips, 330,000 of them. Tartar folds to Hakeem.
And Hallaert hoping maybe a hand like ace-10 or ace-jack will call him here. Or jacks.
He's got a draw. Hakeem folds.
Oh, I know he likes being a tournament director, but Kenny's got to really like raking in chips on day 6 of the main event.
He's got one World Series final table to his credit, last year's Colossus event, which had over 22,000 entries, and he finished 5th. Wow. So, some deception pre-flop from Kenny, but no payoff later. Before becoming a tournament director, Kenny was an electrician for 8 years. Seems that now he's wired for poker.
He's friendly to everyone. He speaks 3 languages. He's well respected by his peers. I've got to figure he'll be busting real soon.
Hallaert under the gun here as he now sits with a stack of 11.5 million, almost the biggest stack at this table.
I've got to tell you, it's hard to find a good electrician. So I wouldn't mind if he returned to that field, and I would put him in my Rolodex.
You have a Rolodex? This is 2016.
You know, I'm sure someone once said to Jonas Salk, "You have a Rolodex? This is 1959. Like he was an idiot.
Kwan Lau under the gun +1 with ace-10 offsuit.
Lau has a Rolodex, and you're not in it.
He raises to 180,000. Kassouf now.
Now, if he's not talking, then he's tanking. Pre-flop with Jack 4. You can't win with this guy.
Lau, 30 years old, born in Hong Kong, grew up in Spain, has recently moved back to Hong Kong. Fold from Kassouf. Hold it over to Postma. Ace-queen off.
He has a finance and economics degree from Grand Valley State University in Allendale, Michigan. I believe they are the Blue Hens.
Enjoying his first World Series cash, not just main event cash, any World Series event. A re-raise to 450 with a better ace. Cristoforo in the small blind. Ace-jack, he folds. Hakeem gets rid of it. Now back to Lau.
Lau could get in trouble with ace-10 here.
How much are you playing, sir?
Lau does have Postma covered by 1.5 million chips.
Postma's got a Ryan Gosling thing going, I think.
Yeah, good call.
Lau wishes he had the chart. The chart never lies.
He does have some lavender chips in his hand.
Wow.
They never lie. There's a 4-bet to 1,050,000.
Lau doesn't use a chart. He uses guile, guts, and gamble. How many different ways can ace-queen lose a pot? Here's another possibility. Get 4-bet by ace-10 pre-flop.
Postma with his stack knows he's at a fork in his main event road. And he lays it down.
Oh, nice job. Lau's got 4-bet in his Rolodex.
A well-executed, seasoned pressure play from Lau with the 4-bet. He got Phil Postma to lay down the best hand, but Postma, for now, at least saves his tournament. Amid controversy, Jason McConnell busted on the first hand of day 6.
Go big hand, legit. I'll lay it down, but I'll show you how to begin. Show the bluff, good for the game. Like a boss. Big hand here.
Mullen.
Cool.
Oh. Will Kassouf sent Wes Brockhoff home while Per Linda took some tough beats on his way back to Sweden. Back to the featured table. Jeff Hakeem in the cutoff, one from the button, pocket fours.
When Hakeem first started playing in high school, his favorite player was Sami Farha, who is also Lebanese, and of course the 03 main event runner-up to Chris Moneymaker.
The tournament regular in Europe with 55 big blinds to work with, raises to 185.
Always attacking the blind, man, just because I haven't looked. You know?
Lau with 10 deuce folds to Kassouf in the big blind.
It's Colman.
185?
Yeah, that's a better thing to do. Tell him that. Did you hear that?
What's that?
Just call blind.
No, I don't want to make a mistake, and like Andy, I want to look at my cards.
Like Andy? You're Andy. I'm Andrew.
This is quality. 185. You looked at both, right, or just one?
Can't tell you yet.
No, come on, that's not fair. Okay, I'm going to have to look you up then, just in case you're bluffing. I could even have the best hand here, but don't need to go crazy with this hand. Pot control.
Pocket fours against King 9. There's the flop. Will with a pair of nines.
Not a bad flop for my hand, I should bet here, but then at least if I check, I can induce the bluff. Yeah, check to induce the bluff.
Checks bottom pair.
If I bet here, he folds anyway. So.
Hakeem went to Pitt for 1 year, then McGill University in Montreal for 1 year.
200,000. Find out where you are, right? Got to bet. It's the only way you're going to find out. Got a piece of that? You can talk if you like. You can talk. We're heads up. You got a piece of that, right?
Depending on which card.
I've definitely got a piece of that. Big piece. It's whether I want to play a big pot or a small pot, really. No, I'll keep it simple.
That's a call.
Let's go crazy. Just call. Set the trap.
Turn card. That gives Kassouf a straight draw. He's still way ahead.
It's not bad. Turn doesn't change much, does it? Always a blank on the turn. Nothing gets there, really. Yeah, go on. Induce the bluff. Why not?
Hakeem looks like Daniel Negreanu 2.0 with a tad more hair.
Bit more, bit more. Put some green and orange in there. That's it, bit more. Put some orange as well, make it colourful. Make colour. No, I can't, that's not friendly. How much is that?
Hakeem keeping the heat on, 550.
Hakeem with the worst of it with the recontinuation bet.
Impressive. No fear. Scary board.
It is a scary board, and Kassouf has no flush draw and fourth pair.
Wow. Big laydown.
And a laydown it is.
You make some credit. This hand. I'll see it on TV.
You will.
I'll see that one on TV, definitely. Be a great bluff if it is one, but I doubt it.
I believe he's wrong. Well done by Hakeem. And I tell you, Kid Poker would kill for that hair.
Hakeem adds over $500,000 new chips to his bank. Will Kassouf is used to getting paid to talk, so it's not a surprise to see him in his new career talking and trying to get paid.
Right now, I'm playing poker full-time, taking a break from the legal career. It's been an extended break now. It's been a few years that I've been out of the legal career. Just enjoy playing poker, just playing full-time. Had a lot of good results recently in the last few years, just from doing a lot of speech plays, getting into my opponent's minds, and just loving the whole psychological aspect of the game. And they say how you play poker depends on your personality. So I'm an outgoing, sociable kind of a guy, so you'll see me active on the table, engaging in conversation, relaxing with the players. But you're sitting there for 12, 13 hours straight, and the people are sitting there with headphones on, you know, hoodies and sunglasses saying nothing for 12 hours. It's just so boring.
He's got the right idea, but Will's got to learn to regulate it, to moderate, to temper it. The talk wears thin, and you know we're living in a society here.
The payout is almost 97 grand if you run out of chips right now. Lau on the button with pocket sevens.
Lau lets his chips and his Rolodex do the talking.
He doesn't have a Rolodex. That is a raise to 175. Kassouf with ace-king off.
This will be the raising the button speech from the best of Will Kassouf, double LP.
$525.
Oh, no speech. He's widening his range.
3-bet to 525,000. Folded back to Lau.
Got the best hand at the moment. Massive hand. Never going to be 3-betting your life from the small blind. Big end.
Well, at least we got the best hand at the moment speech from the best of Will Kassouf, double LP.
Lau will make the call for 350,000 more with pocket sevens and position.
Two active players head-to-head again.
All right, here is the flop. And that is a very good flop for pocket sevens.
Quads alert, Lon. Quads alert.
Wow.
And ace-king drawing deader than a doornail.
What does that mean?
If you had a Rolodex, you would know.
Kassouf is drawing dead with his ace-king.
660,000.
But betting into the quad, 660,000.
Lau already spending that 660,000.
Told you I had the best hand pre-flop, best hand on the flop.
Lie number 1.
No bluff.
Lie number 2.
Get my chips in good, that's all I can do.
Lie number 3.
Just a call.
That's a good call. I mean, that's getting your chips in good.
So they built a pot of over $2.5 million. Lau sitting on quads. Oh, to have that kind of peace of mind in poker. There's a queen.
Silence trumps speech play here. Silence is golden with quads.
Kassouf now checks.
Lau might check back and hope Kassouf stabs at it on the river.
Kassouf, I imagine he's thinking, is such a tricky opponent. Get the chips when you can get the chips? I don't know. Lau putting some chips together. That is 900,000.
I don't know if Will has a I'm drawing dead speech on the best of Kassouf double LP.
How good is Will Kassouf's reading ability now?
Wow, okay. This one I definitely want to see. Wow.
Fold.
Big later.
Lie number 4. If he were in court, Will would be piling up perjury charges.
And Lau didn't show. Players love to show quads. Lau resisted the urge as he now has 6.7 million chips.
I can't call, it's either all in or fold. I'm not calling.
Well, I know that.
He said all the wrong things, but in the end, Kassouf made the correct laydown.
Big later. Big later. Told you I had the best hand pre-flop, best hand on the flop. This one I definitely want to see. Wow. Big later.
It's hard to ignore Will Kassouf at the featured table, but there are still 7 other tables in action, including one of our featured tables with Jason Less, James Opes, Tom Marchese, and Jared Blesnick.
You got about 7 million there?
No, a little bit less, like 6'4", 6'5".
Blesnick with a suited ace on the button, questioning
I call.
Tommy Miller in the big
Call.
blind.
I call on the button.
It's a call on the button.
In the small blind, 28-year-old Las Vegas poker pro Daniel Ritalik with ace-10, and he will come along. Miller with queens.
30-year-old New York pro with a degree in architectural technology. I don't even know where to start with that.
Raise. Make it 350,000.
You heard him.
Blesnick also lives in New York. He deals in real estate, but he knows nothing of architectural technology.
1 million.
Wow, he knows a lot about 3-bets. Ritalik folds.
This is poker like they used to play in Deadwood, Lon, and no one survived Deadwood.
Miller with the queens.
And he's not going anywhere here.
Liz and Tommy live in East Hampton, New York.
She thought she married an architectural technologist. He's either thinking about a 4-bet or he's constructing a whole new casino in his head.
He's constructing a whole new bet, it looks like.
2.4.
A 4-bet to 2.4 million.
Deadwood had the largest graveyard in the tri-state region. If we were in Deadwood right now, Blesnick would have a 5-bet in him.
They didn't play for this kind of money in Deadwood. Blesnick gives it up.
Add Tommy Miller to the list of people in poker Jared Blesnick doesn't like.
You got to take your shots in poker as Blesnick did, but sometimes you got to let the pride and ego go and step away. Jared still has over 8 million chips.
Chicks dig the long ball, and chicks dig architectural technologists with chips.
Miller adds a nice chunk to his stack. He has doubled his chips so far here on day 6. Let's go out to the field. Center screen, start of the day. Chip leader Jerry Wong with a pair of 6s. He's got 0 chance of winning a showdown against the kings of Griffin Benger on screen right. Almost $2.4 million in the pot.
Clubs got there, straight got there, and Jerry Wong sitting on bottom pair. He knows his best shot to win the pot is to bet it.
And they both have a lot of chips with which to bet. And Jerry looks like he wants to bet.
Griffin watching him every step of the way.
And if Jerry's going to put those chips in, that's a lot. Wow, into a pot of 2.4 million. That's 3 million, and Benger snap folds.
Very nice. Wong overbets the pot. Big risk. He figures Benger doesn't have a big hand, and it works out. Well done.
Jerry Wong now with almost 12 million chips as we go from the Mum's the Word table to the Toastmasters International table that is our featured table.
185.
Hakeem under the gun with 7s, a raise to 185.
Poker. PKR.
I bet you can't even spell tournament. Can't believe you're still in.
I can't, that's why I always write Tawny with a Y.
Lau with pocket deuces.
That's the worst pocket pair you can have, Lon.
I see you have brought your rank of hands chart with you, Cuzzy.
That's generally how you think it's spelled. Waiting to make his move. Here we go. Incoming. Hold on to your seats. Here it comes. And lift off.
Both of these players with over 6 million chips. That's a call. Kassouf quietly folds. Postman now on the button. Unplayable. Carlton Tartar in the small blind. Short stack here, 10-9 of diamonds.
Oh, I would crawl across the desert for suited connectors with a small blind discount.
Discount he will take advantage of.
Wow.
Cristoforu, ace deuce.
I was banker folding this a minute ago.
He gets a discount too.
I think I can.
And 7-1.
Is it 5 more? 185. He doesn't want to, but he has to.
4 players will see the flop.
Now, I never understand that expression, deuces never loses. It's always behind any pair, and right now it's 9% four-handed.
Hakeem with the best hand. He was under the gun with 7s. There's the flop. And an ace in there for Cristoforu. He has top pair after being forced to call from the big blind.
By the way, deuces now a 3% hand, so deuces can loses.
Check.
Check, check. Now Hakeem with the 7s.
Well, with 4 players in the hand, Hakeem can't c-bet, which is against Norman Chad School of Poker rules. His expulsion note is forthcoming.
They all check it. Turn card. Not even $1 million in the pot. 10 of spades, a 3rd spade out there. And now 2 pair for Tartar to give him the lead. And he will check his 2 pair.
I might have bet there.
Cristoforu with top pair. Tartar with a short stack in the catbird seat, though he hates to see all those spades out there. Cristoforu bets 380. Hakeem folds his 7s. Lau folds his deuces.
Can't blame fish and chips for betting. Aces might be good right here.
Tartar had checked when he turned 2 pair.
This is a friendly table. They should make a deal. Tartar cuts his hair and gives it to Cristoforu. Actually, I'd like to make a deal with Tartar. Act before midnight and I'll cut your hair for free. I know Tartar's the short stack at the table. He's been pretty snug, but this looks like a decent spot to play ball. 2 pair on the turn when no one bet the flop.
He is very confused by the action here. The amateur Tartar with live career earnings of only $3,700 with the current payout almost $100,000. There's a lot to think about here. Does he risk the chips with a flush out there or hold on and ladder up the money list? He folds to Cristoforu.
It's a tough one.
The first timer Andrew Cristoforu lucky to escape with that pot.
The best poker content on the internet.
Your super high roller bowl 7 champion.
Oh yeah!
Wheels are coming off.
That's the craziest hand I've ever seen. What was that bite?
Go to get.pokergo.com/YT24 for $20 off a new annual subscription.
During the day, a lively pool scene, but the players have to ignore that for now. There are many more important tasks at hand. We caught up with Canadian pro Griffin Benger, who, like many, is facing a tough table draw on his day 6.
Yeah, it's a complete change of pace. It's terrifying, and it's I'm just trying to kind of stay out of everyone's way right now. I think that this is it's a spot where a lot of people's egos can get involved, and that's really not the way that I want to live my life and my poker life. So I'm going to have to keep some of them in check sometimes. Like I just played a pretty big pot with Jerry where he might have ended up bluffing me, but I'm pretty sure he had the best hand. And I'm just trying to float in the territory of between 7 and 12 million until I can get a more favorable table.
There you see, the new red oversized chip is in play, worth $500,000 each. The blinds are also up to 50 and 100,000 with a 15K ante. Kenny Hallaert has the action on the button, and 2 kings.
Pocket kings again?
Right.
Hallaert was pretty short stacked at one point of day 5, but he has been picking up big hands and building a big chip stack.
Got the big chip stack at this table, over 12 million. There's a raise to 250,000. Fernando Pons, amateur from Spain, gives up his hand. In the big blind is Kakwan Lau. Ace of clubs, king of clubs.
Another big hand. So Kenny Hallaert in position to do more damage here against an opponent with a big holding.
Lau starting the hand with 5.8 million. Three bet in progress with one of the big red chips. He makes it 750.
Of course, ace-king is overrated. Even ace-king suited, it's just a drawing hand.
Hallaert with the made hand, the pocket kings. There's a 4-bet to $1,650,000.
No slow play from the tournament director. Of course, he wouldn't mind picking up the chips right here. You always hate to see an ace hit the flop.
Over twice the stack is Lau.
All in.
Call. All in and a call. Lau at risk, and almost half of Kenny's chips are in the middle too.
Just like that, 12 million chips in the middle, huge pot. If Hallaert knocks out Lau, he'll have 18 million.
What a pot we've got here on day 6. Hallaert looking to hold on with the kings. Lau all in with ace-king. Now the flop. And an ace for Lau, wasting no time to take the lead.
Diamonds. Well, ace-king is a good hand after all. Lau now 91% to stick around.
And he holds one of Kenny's outs. 7 of hearts on the turn. No help to Kenny.
Only the last king in the deck would bust Lau.
It's another 7, and Lau doubles up through Kenny Hallaert.
So Lau safe at the moment, and Hallaert takes a big hit.
Loses nearly half his holdings, but still playing over 60 big blinds. Lau survives and more with almost 12 million.
And Kenny's got to be downcast. If Hallaert wins that hand, he'd have chips that seem destined for the November 9. Poker's a tough, tough business.
The table draw.
You were there?
Often overlooked. Not completely understood, but absolutely critical. So imagine walking up to your table and seeing Will Kassouf.
There's no business like show business. All right.
You want to go out this time?
Shut up. It's better than us. What's it called? Coconut. The coconuts. That's it. Jason's with it. It's the coconuts. So he's learning.
Or Alex Keating.
A table full of fish. This is just what I wanted.
That's not very impressive.
How the are you still in this?
And then trying to win $8 million.
Focus.
I'll be relentless.
I love him already.
There is no doubt the game of poker is a game of skill, but the seat you draw?
Don't start.
That's lucky.
One more.
Or unlucky. and dreams, and right now some of them rest inside the Rio. The World Series of Poker Main Event bracelet drives all who still play here on day 6. I'm Lon McCarron, joined by my broadcast partners Norman Chad and Kara Scott. To an outer table for an all-in and call, Qui Win with a set of jacks, trying to knock out Tyler Hancock with flush and straight draws.
Win, 39-year-old Las Vegas gambler. Hancock, 33-year-old Arizona online entrepreneur. Somebody's main event is going to come crashing down in a moment.
2 even stacks. Turn card is a 10. Hancock turns Broadway to turn the tables on Win.
Win now is going to need the board to pair.
The river card is another queen. Win rivers a full house to outgun the nut flush of Hancock.
Yeah, just like that, Tyler Hancock has to pack up, and Win with a virtual double up has a new lifeline.
Knockouts coming quick on day 6. 2 familiar fellows are well stacked here. Valentin Vornico has the chip lead. Alex Keating still has his beard and 6 million chips. Michael Ruan, a poker pro from New Jersey, is over 10 million.
I love New Jersey. When you're eating a Jersey tomato at a Jersey toll booth on the Jersey Turnpike, now that's living.
That's Cliff Josephy, former stockbroker turned internet poker wizard turned father of 3.
Cliff is everything I'd hoped I could be, but never was and never will be. He causes me great pain.
Top pro Griffin Benger signing a hat. He's got a background in video games.
It seems impossible to me that kids can make a living playing video games, but that's the world we live in. I used to love Pitfall on Atari.
Pitfall, how life imitates art. Vornico up top, right behind him, 34-year-old Jerry Wong. Mike Shen is an 8th.
8 from the UK left in the field, 2 in the top 10, but British royalty at this main event remains Will Kassouf.
I hate this hand anyway. If you guess it, I'll show it. You know what I hate in Hold'em? Most overrated hand in Hold'em.
Ace King.
It's very good. You can see my cards? Okay, very good, very good. Ace King and Pocket Jack's my worst 3 hand in Hold'em. I am.
Not much argument to Will Kassouf's postulation. Could it be possible? The bloom is off the rose. The lawyer turned poker pro has a quip for every one of his chips.
If he doesn't slow the game down, he's okay by me most of the time.
Kak-Wan Lau has the biggest stack at this table with nearly 12 million.
Lau got lucky with Ace King versus Kenny Hallert's Kings for his tournament life. This is now a main event free roll.
4 chips in play from 5 to 500,000. Yes, the red ones, the red frisbees are on the larger size. The blinds at 50 and 100K with a 15K ante. From Spain, 37-year-old amateur Fernando Pons with pocket 9s.
He works for a home improvement store.
He's going to improve the pot by raising it to 225. There is Lau on the button with aces.
He's upgraded from Ace King, 30-year-old Hong Kong poker pro. And he speaks Spanish. It would be polite of him if he told Pons he's holding pocket aces.
Oh, very nice. Lau cashed in last year's main event, the chip leader at the table. And he's going to 3-bet with the aces to 575. Kassouf in the small blind.
And Kassouf now will pontificate with a horrendous hand.
Oh, a nice quick fold from Kassouf. Adi folds now to Pons with the 9s.
Pons with pocket 9s, 27 big blinds, and I believe a rooster on his baseball cap.
All in.
Go time. Snap call. And the aces are crushing the 9s. Spaniard Fernando Pons in trouble.
He's in snap trouble.
Blessed. Get lucky in one hand and then get the goods on it. Blessed.
If this holds, Lau is going to have the second biggest stack in the room.
Fernando's first trip to Vegas in the World Series. It's going to be profitable no matter what happens. Here's the flop, 6 tray deuce, a thing of beauty for Lau.
Even if Pons had just called pre-flop, chances are he would have gotten it all in on that flop.
Turn card now. And oh, a 9! Pons finds his miracle card.
Wow.
Doesn't look like Lau's going to have the second biggest stack. Pons now just has to dodge an ace.
Lau looking to match heroics, but it's another tray 9s full in the scorebook. And Pons with the double up through Lau. Lau counts out the payoff. Pons now will sit with 6.2 million chips.
Cruel game, tough game, ridiculous game. Pons thinks it's a wonderful game.
Every year I have a conversation or two with friends, and without fail, someone says, poker, it's all luck anyway. And hands like that don't dissuade them, but of course we all know that 81% of the time Kak-Wan Lau is knocking on the doorstep of the tournament chip lead while Fernando Pons is making travel arrangements back to Spain. So Norman, how do we convince the non-believers of the skill in the game?
Nothing frustrates me more. Okay, that's not true. Overpriced lattes drive me insane. But people who think poker is predominantly a game of luck are a close second. If poker is luck, here are things that are luck too. Real estate investing, the stock market, marrying into money, digging for oil, and frankly, digging for anything. Folks, you cannot earn a living at something that has roots in luck. It's not possible. There is no such thing as a professional roulette artist. Craps doesn't have a players union, and no one buys lottery tickets from 9 to 5. But if that changes, let me know.
Average stack has 54 big blinds and at almost 5.5 million chips. Back to the feature table. Three-handed action post-flop. Kassouf with top pair and a gut shot. Jeff Hakeem with middle pair and a flush draw. He checks it to Hallaert, who missed.
Hakeem, 29-year-old poker pro. He's friends with Hallaert, 34-year-old poker tournament director. They should form a posse against Will Kassouf.
With one overcard, the Belgian poker tournament director bets $425. Kassouf now with top pair and a gut shot.
Okay, new rule for next year. You only get to look at your cards once. Before the hand, during, or after. Doesn't matter, but once you peek, that's it. This rechecking phenomena has to go. Enough is enough.
Kassouf, once a lawyer, always a lawyer, but it's mostly poker now. He makes the call. Hakeem with middle pair and the flush draw.
Hakeem's t-shirt says, I write my own what?
It says, I write my own t-shirt slogans. And he makes the call. So turn card, deuce of spades. Kassouf still good with the queens.
If I knew a deuce of spades was coming, to save time, I would simply skip the turn card altogether and go directly to the river.
Then that would be the turn card, and we'd have a turn card. No, I'm not going to get there. Hallaert checks as well.
Kassouf has the best of it here.
He checks it. River card, six of spades, no flush for Hakeem, but he does river two pair.
That's a greatly disguised two pair. It's so well disguised, it feels more like two dope queens than two pair.
Hakeem, check the flop, check the turn.
I write my own. Stand up, let us see.
He's got the best hand. He has Lavender's in hand. That's $1,100,000. Hallaert folds. Top pair for Kassouf.
1.1 million, right? Spread the pot, please. On the Lavender.
Sit down. What, you can't see the pot from your seat? You can't see the board from your seat? You can't see that Hakeem has two pair written all over his face from your seat?
Maybe on his t-shirt.
Well, in Will's defense, I would be confounded too if I were him. I don't see how he has two pair.
Will often test the patience of his table mates, though this is worthy of a think.
Clock, please.
Lau calls a clock on Kassouf.
Yeah, Lau and Kassouf not buddies. Lau doesn't mind calling the clock on him there.
And I'm sorry, this is a boy crying wolf here. You know, he takes a lot of time, so many times, and then he needs it. He doesn't get it.
This hand doesn't make sense. It's nuts or nothing, literally. Nuts or nothing. Do you want me to go? Yes or no? Simple question. A 10 jack or I got you beat?
Will's table talk doesn't work as well against pros.
10, 9, 8.
Countdown.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wow.
0.
Wow.
Good
Definitely
fold.
want to see this one. Sick.
Hakeem took a chance calling pre-flop, and it pays off nicely from the big blind.
I write my own endings? Well, that was a good ending. An introspective Will Kassouf, driven to silence.
Still left with 8.3 million, though. A very healthy stack. Hakeem got the best of him there.
No bluff, no win, right?
Jeff stacking almost 7.4 million.
What'd you have, Queen Jack? Bit better.
And by a bit better, Will means Queen Jack suited. Not quite as busy at the Rio right now. That's because the main event field started with 6,737 players, now just 62. The current payout nearly 117,000, $8 million going to this year's champ. At our feature table, across from fellow Brit Will Kassouf, it's restaurateur Andrew Cristoforo, who's making the most of his first time playing the main event.
I'm zoned, yeah, proper zoned, completely. I refuse to walk out of that door, get on the plane, go home and say, I had a chance. And I didn't take advantage of it. Because I've done it before with other tournaments. I'm not doing it with this, no way. I'm not losing focus.
Well, the first timer here does have some decent poker results, but he makes a really good fish and chips. The fish is fresh and light with a crispy batter.
Piss off.
Going back to the other guy.
The other guy.
And Andrew tells me that it's critical for quality fish and chips to change the oil off.
Yes, man.
He would know.
You watch, boy.
If it's a 3-bet jam, yeah, not just a 3-bet.
You watch. Someone's got the wrong image of me, mate.
You open, someone raised you, you fold jacks.
All day long.
You're the best. When's your book going out? Seriously, I need to buy a copy now.
When I learn how to read.
Mate, I might save money if
Ace Queen for
When I learn how to read, I'll do it.
Yeah, exactly. You have to learn how to write as well. Or you can translate to someone dictaphone, they can write it for you, right?
Learn how to read this. There you go.
First timer raises to 225.
Cristoforo gets his fish fresh from Scotland, much better than the cod from Lake Las Vegas.
Well, cod's not a freshwater fish, Norman.
That's why it's not very good out of Lake Las Vegas.
You can't read.
Good point. Kassouf with Queen Jack in the big blind.
Big hand.
Don't waste time.
I'm not wasting time, mate. I've got big handed.
I need to get a coffee.
I should be 3-betting you here. But the fact that you're going to 3-bet fold, if I 3-bet you fold jacks, means if I 3-bet here, you should fold anything less, right?
Take it out on the other people there.
Mate, I've got a hand. I've got to play my hand.
Let's go.
If I fold now, they think it's collusion.
Let's go.
They'll say it's collusion if I fold to you now. And then look at the two Brits trying to swap 10% and soft plan.
Heads up. Kassouf just called, and an ace top pair for Cristoforo.
It's a good flop for my hand.
Shut up, Will.
See, I'm telling you now.
Will checks.
Just leave it.
What's wrong with you, mate?
Shut up.
You're not steaming. Is that steam coming off your head? Is that steam or is it the lights? 175. Looks like steam. Keep smiling, though. Good for the game, mate. Cameras are rolling. Don't be shy, mate. Don't look like you're tilting to the world, do you?
Tilting, yeah.
Exactly. Won't be good before your book comes out.
His talk is incessant. It's like at the airport when they don't stop making those announcements. You just can't relax.
What's that about? Give me a discount on the book as well.
Oh, Will.
These guys should go on tour playing heads up.
You got none of that.
You think?
Oh, I'm not going to fish for it. But I had second pair.
Do you want me to show it?
Go on, show it, show it.
Do you really want me to rim myself?
I had 9-10 suited.
Go on. 9-10 suited. You know I can't.
Go on, you said
shut up, Will.
Show one, show one. So you bluff me.
Will,
King, Queen, high, right?
Will,
King, Queen. All right. You had 2 overs. All in good time. Right. Carry on, carry on.
He lies about his hand and wants the other guy to show one.
The amateur gets the best of the pro there and handles the verbal barrage quite nicely. All right, another all-in nearby. Michael Ruan has ace-7 and over 11 million chips, looking to collect the last 455 grand of Cole Jackson. He has jacks.
And Ruan, north of 100 big blinds, can make calls like this.
On the flop, the Seattle poker pro Jackson with his jacks, still good.
Jackson, you may recall, correctly folded jacks full to queens full on day 4, down to 4 big blinds here.
Turn card now, and an ace for Ruan, putting the pinch on Jackson with 1 card left to fall.
And now Jackson will need a jack, or he is wamboozled.
The river card, a 10. Let the wamboozling begin. Ruan scores the knockout of Cole Jackson, who will curse pocket jacks all the way home to Washington State.
Yeah, pocket jacks and a Seattle jersey, that's a lot of baggage to overcome.
Ruan having the time of his life here at the Rio, now with 12.5 million chips. So the main event takes another soul back at the featured table, and a quick look at 26-year-old Phil Postma.
He was working in finance in Cleveland, took a 1-week vacation to Florida, and decided, hey, I like it down here, moved to South Florida, and started playing poker full-time.
Phil and 2 others saw a flop of King 4-10. Kassouf leads with a pair of 10s. Phil and big blind Adi Abagazal missed. Postma continued with a bet of 175.
Kassouf got the best of that flop, middle pair.
And he just calls with the best hand. Abou-Ghazal folds. Heads up to the turn. 5 of hearts. Postma with a gut shot, but he's still a big dog in the hand.
What Kassouf doesn't know is that Postma graduated from Grand Valley State University in Michigan, which has the winningest Division II college football program in history, so I would check here.
Really?
Yes, really.
Kassouf does check. Really?
Yes, it's true. I'm not a presidential nominee. Postma looks passive, but he is Grand Valley State aggressive. He wants to hit somebody.
Well, he's reaching. Big bet with the draw, 525.
Postma fires a second barrel. The gut shot on the turn gives him a little more impetus to continue.
Kassouf with second pair and a flush draw.
How much you got behind you? No more lavender, right?
Kassouf likes to stand up. It's good exercise. He's a tiger. Did Kassouf just peek at his cards again? That's not going to be allowed next year.
There's the call.
There's something stuck to the bottom of Postma's shoe. It's Kassouf.
Right? River card, jack, and diamonds. Postma comes up empty at the river. Kassouf with the best hand. Checks again.
Will he fire a third barrel?
No.
Aces are good.
Well, they would be good if he had them. Show your hand, Will.
Will played it cautiously and will collect the pot of over 1.8 million.
Third barrel might have done it there. 3 barrels almost always better than 2. Rather have 3 barrels of oil than 2. Rather have 3 barrels of beer than 2 if beer comes in a barrel.
A costly loss for Postma.
You fire the river, I have to fold. You fire like 1 million or 1 point whatever, yeah, I have to fold.
Postma had a shot. Kassouf with a reason to talk.
Hindsight, that it's easy to hindsight.
For a change. To come this far and not make the November 9, so painful. At the expense of Griffin Benger, Brian Youn's final table dream ends in 60th place.
He finished 58th here in 2011. He was a kid with a dream.
Robert Park leaves with nearly 117 grand, but a lot of what-ifs.
He finished 33rd in 2014. He was another kid with a dream.
Justin Kumar's third main event, a very profitable one, but he falls short of the final 9.
He was a 50-year-old IT manager with a dream.
So now 57 remain, a pay jump coming after 3 more eliminations. 30-year-old Kak-Wan Lau, born in Hong Kong. At age 3, moved to Spain, recently moved back to Hong Kong.
He was 143rd in last year's main event, mostly an online cash player.
Under the gun +1. Lau, reaching for lavenders, must have a hand. Ace-king. A raise to 225. Will Kassouf with pocket 9s.
Big hands for the 2 most active players at this table and 2 players who don't seem to care much for each other.
9s were not kind to Lau as Fernando Pons doubled through Lau, holding 9s against Lau's aces.
535.
A re-raise to 535. Abou-Ghazal now with jacks.
38-year-old Israeli-born amateur, works in real estate. Pocket jacks with 18 big blinds. He'd usually shove, but he's staring at a raise and a re-raise in front of him.
And a pay bump coming. No middle ground for Adi.
Big decision.
Best hand, no bluff.
And though Lau and Kassouf are very active, here they have both raised from early position, so either one could have a big hand.
As you mentioned, with his stack, it's all or nothing for Adi.
Big laydown.
He opts for nothing.
That was a big laydown. Abou-Ghazal did not want to risk his main event in that spot. Can't blame him.
Christophoru on the button with queen tray of hearts.
Clock. Such an idiot.
Hallaert folds the big blind. Back to Lau now with ace-king, and he's going to make a quick call.
Think about it. Think about it, Gokman. No? Don't even think about it? Snap call?
Yeah, why should someone act quickly?
Heads up now. Lau and Kassouf again. 10 and 10 and a queen. Lau with a Broadway draw. Lau checks to the pre-flop aggressor. Kassouf with 2 pair of 9s and
550.
10s on board. 550.
This is a Hatfield-McCoy situation, and McCoy's got the better of it right now.
That's more than a third of the pot. Lau with the draw and 2 overs. Plus, it's Will Kassouf. You want to get the best of Will Kassouf if you're playing with him, and there is the call. Almost $2.5 million up for grabs. Turn card. 8 of spades. Lau checks again.
They're both stubborn. They both don't like each other much. It's a good thing there is a dealer between the two of them. We should try that, Lon.
Exactly. Kassouf. He wants a piece of Lau as much as Lau wants a piece of him. He opts not to bet.
Well, not to nitpick, but he could have checked 3 seconds sooner.
Another queen counterfeiting Kassouf, so Lau's ace with the 2 pair on board is best.
Just a terrible card for Kassouf.
Lau will check a 3rd time.
As you mentioned, Kassouf's 2 pair no longer good. The pocket 9s have been counterfeited. He can't win the pot now unless he bets at it. Will he fire?
He has the chip stack to speculate.
1.25 million.
Half the pot and a wee bit more.
Yeah, he fires, trying to get Lau off of his ace high.
The name of the game in Hold'em is put your opponent in a tough spot, and that's exactly where Lau is.
The pace of play is so slow, many of the players here have left the table and are forming support groups nearby.
And no speech from Kassouf here. Lau doesn't know what to make of that.
No speech from Kassouf and no give up from Lau. He doesn't want to give it up.
Will's not supposed to talk here, so he's following directions at least.
Clock, please.
And he calls a clock.
You have 50 seconds to act on your hand. If you haven't acted, there will be a 10-second countdown. At the count of 0, your hand would be dead.
Yeah, a fold from Lau.
9 high like a boss. Counterfeited. Sake. My life. Nice got ace high in this coup. Calls on. Put that on the blog. 9 high like a boss.
Win with grace, lose with grace. Not part of Will Kassouf's makeup. And Lau might be on tilt.
Yeah, not a big loss for Lau, but it could have been a nice game.
It's a sick river, isn't it? Sickest river.
What a boss.
Have to, I'm going to check 9 high. Yeah, you win.
No,
right.
That's not what we're talking about, yeah. Take the break.
Deja vu from yesterday, isn't it?
A lot going on in that hand. Antonio Esfandiari and Phil Locke are here to sort it all out.
9 high like a boss. Not only does he get jacks to fold pre-flop, he gets the best hand to fold on the river, and then he stands up and says, 9 high like a boss, and shows his cards.
Oh man, it's crazy. If I wasn't so distracted by your outfit, I could maybe chat. Bruce Lee, he wants to know, what's with the diaper pin? He wants to know. I'm not curious. I'm asking on his behalf.
This is called fashion forward, something you will never know anything about, Phil Locke. Can we talk about the hand?
Let's go back to the hand, yeah.
Let's talk about Lau's decision to fold on the river. Kassouf is only representing a queen, really. And given there's 2 10s on the board, he's more likely to check back a queen on the turn and maybe pick up a bluff or something and keep the size of the pot smaller. So it looks a little fishy. And Lau picks up on it. He's there. Not quite. It's really hard to call a big size bet on the river for a lot of chips. Tough spot.
If your TV is now shattered, please send a bill to Antonio Esfandiari, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Marvelous. This will be embarrassing. You don't put me on this hand, I tell you. I can't say what I've got. 9 high like a boss. Big heart of a lion. 9 high like a boss.
The best poker content on the internet.
Your super high roller bowl 7 champion.
Oh yeah!
Wheels are coming off.
That's the craziest hand I've ever seen.
What was that fight?
Go to get.pokergo.com/YT24 for $20 off a new annual subscription.
Welcome back inside the Amazon room. 56 players left at the 2016 main event. One of them, chip leader and first-timer Valentin Vornicu. Another is just like a boss, Will Kassouf. At an outer table, Dan Colman and Cliff Josephy are heads up on the flop, each with a pair. Josephy with top pair, Colman with middle pair.
Josephy got burned out by Wall Street and at age 37 transitioned to online poker.
A bet from Josephy, a raise from Colman, and now a call from Josephy. Turn card now. 10 of clubs. Josephy's still best with his jacks, and he checks.
Colman very intense at the poker table, but he listens to music to help stay chilled and relaxed on the felt.
Let's not underestimate this matchup. Different generations, yes, but the volume of poker knowledge and accomplishments they have is striking. And now Colman, after the check, bets $1.5 million.
That's a striking turn bet. Colman putting a lot of pressure on Josephy's top pair.
Dan, a heads-up specialist, knows aggression paves many paths to success.
Josephy with 2 bracelets. First one came in stud in 2005. This isn't stud.
Wow, Josephy shoves on Dan Colman.
Maybe trying to get Dan to lay down a draw, and nowhere for Colman to go now. Those cards had to go into the muck.
Colman with the shorter stack, wasn't going to call off everything there. Josephy takes a nice pot.
Nice play by the newly minted AARP member.
Josephy now increases his stack to almost $11 million. Meanwhile, Dan Colman's stack has been cut in half. He's got to be wondering, was he had or did he have the better hand?
You want to move that? Have you got enough of the...
Nearby in seat 1 next to the dealer, Tom Middleton 4-bet all in with pocket jacks for over $4 million. And the black agonizing Mike Shin with twice the stack, but a lesser hand with pocket tens. But he does make the call.
Shin, 28-year-old business owner, runs cell phone stores in Wisconsin. Middleton at risk, 29-year-old British pro. He won the EPT Barcelona main event in 2013.
Shin would love to phone a friend here for a 10.
Well, he can afford to take this hit here. Shin started the hand with almost 100 big blinds.
Flop now is all spades. Shin with a flush draw, Middleton with a sweat.
Yeah, Middleton has no desire to look at that board any further.
Turn card, a spade! And now Middleton drawing dead and out of the main event just like that.
Wow. And such a convenient suck out for Mike Shin. He just reaches over and takes his new chips from his departed neighbor, and the Lon McCarron Memorial hand claims another unsuspecting out-of-town victim.
A big pot for Shin. He committed nearly half his chips as a 4-1 underdog. Now he's the chip leader.
Poker's all luck.
All right, back to Cliff Josephy's table. He has the action and pocket kings. Dietrich Fast on Cliff's right, 3-bet with aces from the button, following Chris Klodnicki's opener of $215,000.
Well, Josephy, the man with the great life, the life I want, is about to get coolered here for almost a quarter of his stack, but he can afford it.
Yeah, he's now over $10 million to work with, and they are going to work, Norman. With kings. That's a 4-bet to $1,350,000. This could get ugly for Cliff. Big blind folded now to Klodnicki again.
Klodnicki does not have aces, kings, or a bracelet, so he should not be in this hand.
Great poker mind, though, with over $8 million in live earnings.
He's a terrific player. 37 World Series cashes.
Tough table, yeah, it is. He folds to Fast with the aces. He's got to raise all in. Cliff's got to call. Bang, bang, aces versus kings.
And Fast, the 2015 World Series Europe bracelet winner, starts to pack up, which is his tradition, but he's in great shape for the double-up.
The best news for Cliff is that Fast had only $2.4 million. And now Dietrich pulling out all the stops to keep his aces from being cracked against Cliff Josephy's kings. Pro Jason Les checking in on Dietrich. Here's the flop. And a king for Josephy. Dietrich Fast is in trouble for real.
Boy, this guy's got a great life. No?
I'm not going to jump in the stream. No kangaroo. I'll leave that to you.
Now I can put in my cushion, right?
I couldn't continue.
Maybe that was a mistake. I didn't put in the cushion.
Is that a seat cushion or a Frisbee?
Fast, the World Series bracelet winner. On borrowed time, the 7 is not an ace.
Because I need the backpack on my back.
Well, Dietrich wants to be all packed up so he can unpack up when an ace hits the river.
The river card. No ace. Cliff gets lucky.
Good game. Good game, man.
Fast gets ousted.
Yeah, the delightful German takes his leave. Hate to see him go. And this Wolf of Wall Street doesn't care who or what he destroys on his greed-driven path to the penthouse.
Cliff working on almost $13.5 million. Not a long walk for Fast to the checkout desk.
It's like 2006 all over again.
Tough way for Fast to go out.
Day 6, I'm bust with aces versus kings. Happens. Both sides. Sometimes aces win, sometimes kings win. If I would win this hand, I would have like 5 million, so I would be back in the game. But I got unlucky, and I wish Cliff all the best for the tournament.
Once a year, the Amazon room is transformed into the center of the poker world. That center shrinks every day. Right now, just 54 players remain. At one of our featured tables, a former main event chip leader, main event rookie, 33-year-old Valentin Vornicu, 8 World Series circuit rings to his credit. Also here, the Hirsute, Austin, Texas pro Alex Keating with 62 big blinds.
The math teacher and the guy who never works.
Action at this table is on Elliot Peterman. 29-year-old London native, now lives in Costa Rica with his family of 4. Ace-Jack offsuit, a raise to 225. Keating with Trey Deuce on the button.
Keating looks like a real-life lumberjack, or a hipster playing a lumberjack, or a faux hipster playing a lumberjack. It's all quite confusing.
The plaid shirt does lend an upper Northwest air to him.
And oh, this isn't the Alex Keating I know. He's usually Mr. Premium Hand, but he's about to get frisky with Squadouche.
Trey Deuce. I don't think he wants to see a flop, so that's a 3-bet to 800,000. So on the big blind, Wojciech Ruzicka from the Czech Republic for Trey.
I got 6 million, but I'll count it again.
That 3-bet's a wake-up call to Ace-Jack. But the guy on the other end of the line has Trey Deuce.
I think it's like 5.8, that's my guess.
Peterman has him covered.
By the way, I'm incorrect to say Keating's never worked. He was a baseball umpire as a teenager.
Tough job. Don't call, don't call.
Show me. I'll show you one.
The lumberjack. Power of position, as they say.
Pio solved that hand.
Peterman takes the tiny hit to his big stack. Keating with a little chutzpah closes things out pre-flop.
I saw an ace when you folded.
Aces.
Folded 2 aces. I thought you were scared of money. That's what I've been telling everyone. They're like, you gonna stack that kid? I'm like, no. He's gonna blind out.
That kid, by the way, is a year older than Keating. Mike Shin, still the chip leader, 54 left. We get back to our featured table.
Thought he Snickers bar, just, gambling with the nuts.
Gambling with the nuts? The guy even has props.
Unless I get counterfeit, of course. I get the nuts to fold. How much it? 2? Right, 1.5 behind.
I think the table is weary of Will.
You're not bluffing, are you? No, I don't think so. I better just call them.
Gasol opened under the gun with King-Jack of clubs. Kassouf calls on the big blind with Ace-6 of clubs.
Nuts, please, Ela. Nuts.
Top pair for Will.
Oh, not bad.
No clubs.
It's a good flop for my hand. I'm telling you now. Being friendly. It's a good flop for my hand. Oh, wow. No C-bet? There you go, ace high.
Trips for Will now.
That's a silly card.
With only 15 big blinds left, a C-bet was dangerous territory for Abou-Ghazal. Plus, Kassouf outflopped him, and now he's outturned him, too.
I'm pretty on the turn. Good card, but just in case you're slow playing.
Kassouf playing it tricky.
And talking with his mouth full.
Oh, see that?
River card. That hits Abou-Ghazal, unfortunately for him.
Don't tell me you hit the king now. It's a cooler if you hit the king. I was definitely winning before that card came.
And Kassouf now with tricky speech play.
No, we won't be breaking. We won't be breaking. I think it's 50. No, they're breaking it in 55. So what it says. Yeah. I think we need one more. She was on my table the day after as well. No. So she's
445. All right. You got it, man. You got it. You got it? I think I have it. I got it, man. I got it.
He's got something.
So tell me what you got. I'll tell if I want you to call. Depending on what you have, I want you to call.
It's nice to talk much when you hit your card, huh?
Sorry?
It's nice when you hit your card, huh?
Well, you hit the king?
No, you.
No,
Nice
I haven't
to
hit the
talk.
king. If you hit the king, you have to call.
You call.
Ouch.
Wow.
Will very pleased with himself, like Napoleon after the Battle of Austerlitz.
Ruffler's gonna ruffle.
Abou-Ghazal doesn't look particularly pleased with Will.
He gets tripped up. He's cut down to just 10 big blinds. Kassouf keeps climbing.
Hey, always got it. I told you, get my chips in good. That's what I can do. Non-believers. Non-believers.
Abou-Ghazal couldn't get away from it, and he's feeling main event pain. Welcome back to the Rio. A moment ago, Eddie Abou-Ghazal got his last 10 big blinds in with ace-queen against Phil Postma's pocket jacks, and, well, Adi looking for the payout window.
Bittersweet for Abou-Ghazal. Sad to bust. Glad to be free of Will Kassouf.
He did benefit from a recent pay bump. To an outer table, Aussie first-timer Mitch Watson on the right flopped a set of sevens, raised Pavlin Karakikov all in. He holds pocket tens.
Karakikov, 31-year-old Bulgarian-born Chicago pro and real estate investor, 133rd at last year's main event. He was once a lifeguard on the Black Sea. The Black Sea! That's like the #2 ranked sea in the world.
What's number one?
The Mediterranean.
Of course. A nice fold from Karakikov.
And Watson can't believe he didn't get all of Karakikov's chips. Oh, look. Watson wants to make sure he gets all the chips he's supposed to. What, you're going to cheat a school teacher out of his pot?
Day 6 has been kind to Watson. The first-timer from down under continues a nice and profitable main event run. Back to our featured table, Qui Nguyen, a local pro, has joined this table. As tables break or need to be rebalanced, players are moved around. Nguyen drew this table, born in Saigon, Vietnam, moved to Florida in 1999. He's a cash game player here in Vegas with a bit of a weakness for Baccarat, though he says he hopes to stop.
I believe there are 7 professional Baccarat players worldwide. You know why? Everybody loses at that game.
Folded to win on the button with 8 Trey. Is 8 Trey a good hand in Baccarat?
I don't know. Phil Ivey is my Baccarat go-to guy, and he's dead to me.
Nguyen raises to 250 of his 10 million chip stack.
Well, we know 8 Trey is not a good hand in poker, but Nguyen wants to take it out for a stroll.
And will take Queen Jack of clubs to a flop with a call there from the big blind.
Well, that's a decent hand in poker, and it's even a better one in blackjack.
All right, here's the flop. Ace, ace, 10, a Broadway draw for Kassouf.
Neither player, though, thrilled with that flop.
Will checks the paired board.
Nguyen could make a continuation bet here, also known as the 8 high, get out of my pot bet.
They both check. 6 of clubs on the turn.
Oddly enough, Kassouf is not acquainting his new table mate with his speech play.
Good point. I was basking in the silence. He checks again.
If there was a hat competition or a hat reality show, and there probably already is one, Nguyen's hat has to be in the running for ugliest of the year. Is there someone else wearing that somewhere? What's the target audience for that? Small animals that want to intimidate predators?
Nguyen muscles up and bets 225.
No pair, no draw, 8 high, 225K. Sounds like a plan.
He's a gambler.
All right, give me some credit. Wow.
Kassouf gives it up.
Maybe Nguyen bluffs at Baccarat, too.
Might have actually got that on the turn.
Well, it was believable. He raised pre-flop, checked the paired board. Then he bet. It all adds up to an ace instead of the 8 Trey. Welcome to the table, Mr. Win. If you're not chipping up, you're chipping down, which isn't a real poker term, but it should be. Critical time of the tournament as we move towards the final 27 players. Kassouf and Kackwaan Lau back at it. Lau raised from the button with ace-queen. Kassouf with pocket nines and the big blind.
These two can't get out of each other's way. They should just go and get their own dealer.
Not unlike a hand between these two. We saw a short time ago. Nines have really tortured Lau recently.
The best hand at the moment, that's what I'm saying. If you fold and show, I'll show. I'll keep it friendly. I'm not making a move. Big hand. I don't need to hit anything. I'm not going to raise you light out of position to. I'll call if out of marginal hand. So. Big hand. It's just before the break, so not making a move. If you fold and show, I'll show. 100% I got you beat. I think with your hand, you got 3 outs. That's all I'm saying.
3 outs pre-flop? That's interesting. I don't know. This is why the colonies broke away. Taxation without representation and faulty math. 3 outs?
Lau calls Kassouf's 3-bet. 10-7-10 spooky. Their previous showdown had 2 10s in the flop.
This is the great part about the main event. Long days, long levels, and you really get to know your opponents. It's quite a mental tug of war.
Kassouf with the best hand.
800,000.
He's going to lead out for 800,000, hoping Lau doesn't have a 10 in his hand. Lau did miss.
So you have the best hand pre-flop, on the flop. I'll show you because it's a break now. You fold and show, I'll show. Big hand. No bluffing.
If you fold and show, I'll show. Coming to a theater near you soon.
Keeping it friendly, that's all.
That's a call.
And Lau keeps it friendly with a call. A raise would have been unfriendly.
Turn card, tray of clubs. Kassouf still best.
You think I'm bluffing?
Kassouf just never stops playing with your mind. It's quite a fascinating weapon of his, and it often works.
Almost
1.5
3 million in the pot, and that's about half the pot that he bets.
Told you, no bluffing, man. I'll keep it friendly with you. You fold and show, I'll show. I've got the best hand. Pre-flop, on the flop, on the turn.
Unbeknownst to Kassouf, Lau does not speak a word of English.
No bluffing. We're on a break now, so I will show you 100%. If you fold and show, I'll show.
Now, if he switches to Spanish, that's a different story. There's a call from Lau.
Lau's called the flop and the turn, maybe to bluff the river, or maybe because he thinks he's getting bluffed.
Look at that pot, almost 6 million in the middle. The river card. King of hearts, and Kassouf dodges distress.
But the king might scare Kassouf. Ace-king certainly in Lau's range.
Lau had ace-king last time these two matched up, but it's ace-queen this time. A check from Kassouf. Check back. And Kassouf will take that pot.
Nines like a boss. Kassouf has Lau's number.
Lau learning firsthand your table draw can be key to your championship hopes. Kassouf's verbal game paying big dividends. That hefty pot moves him over 14 million. And that is good for third place on our Day 6 leaderboard. We have just 51 hale and hearty souls remaining.
The World Series of Poker main event is elusive.
Good luck, guys.
That's it to me, buddy. Maybe next year, all right?
It's poker.
1 minute, you're raking in the chips. The next minute, pain. I know. I played 29 main events in a row. There's something magical about this kind of opportunity.
Come on. There we go.
To be at the top of the poker world.
Gotta show it. I gotta show it.
Yeah, beautiful.
All right.
After tonight, just 3 tables will remain.
Let's go.
I got no glory.
Come on.
It's the chance of a lifetime and the time of your life.
Are those an earring up there top, high in your ear?
That one there.
Does that hurt?
Give me an ear and I'll poke a hole through it. And you can tell me if it hurts.
You're crazy.
The tongue hurt more.
It's like pain. Are you like say
No,
autistic
I
or
actually
whatever?
places you want to tell us about?
Tony Bracey asking the tough questions here on day 6.
I mean, I got some of the best friends in the world. I mean, we play and we have a poker league I play in. We have a good group of guys. We meet up once a month and drink some beers and play poker. And all my buddies are more excited for me. I have like 10 people that already flew out. Like all my friends from back home are more excited for me than I am right now. I got to stay focused.
Norman, any piercings you care to reveal?
No.
Hello, everyone. Officially welcome to crunch time of the main event. I'm Lon McCarron along with Norman Chad and Kara Scott. Let's jump right into it. 51 players remain. Featured table is 8-handed right now. The blinds are at 60 and 120,000 with a 20K ante. Action folded to Jesse Cohen, a Pennsylvania poker pro, ace-jack.
He's rooming this summer with Michael Ruan, who's also still alive in this main event. When Jesse graduated college, he backpacked in Southeast Asia for 5 weeks. I don't think he was job hunting.
And he's going to raise it up to 260,000.
As you mentioned, 51 players left. Only 9 can make the November 9.
That's why it's the November 9. Do you also know who's buried in Grant's tomb?
Cary Grant?
No. All right, a lot of folds. Around 2, Tony Bracey in the big blind. Deuce. Pocket deuces.
He's got the look. Bracey says he put his wife through med school with sports betting winnings, which I find hard to believe. Nobody wins betting sports.
From Sacramento, California, a real estate broker, former semi-pro baseball player, and he will call for 140 more.
They make beard apps where you can put a beard on someone and send a picture out. Cohen looks like a living, breathing version of that app.
Here's the flop. 10 jack. Bracey with deuces and jacks, but trip jacks for Cohen. Bracey has the action. He'll check the paired board.
Mike the Mouth Matiso used to say when you flop a big hand, do not slow play it.
Jesse's shirt referencing Emily's entourage honors an old friend who's had a lifelong battle with a rare form of cystic fibrosis. They've been honored by the White House. He bets 225.
He's just betting 30% of the pot, so Cohen is sort of slow playing it, trying to milk Bracey here.
And Bracey will peel and call for 225. That's poker term for, let's see another card. And wow, what another card it is. And a deuce did change something on the turn.
Bracey went set mining. He did not flop a set, but hung around to peel off an incredibly lucky card on the turn.
A full house for Bracey, and he does slow play it.
Cohen will try to milk more chips out of Bracey here, but now he's going to be giving away a half gallon of his own milk that he cannot afford to lose.
Trip jack still with no inkling of what he's up against. He bets 560.
This was a 2-outer Bracey hit. Earlier on day 6, he hit a 1-outer on the river against Dan Colman. That was aces versus 8s.
Cohen started the hand with 2.4 million. And you can see the red number under his name. That indicates his stack is fewer than 20 big blinds now. Bracey puts Cohen all in. Trip jack's no good.
You know what that deuce feels like to Cohen? Like poking a hole in your ear.
Wow, he needs quad jacks or an ace or 10 to keep his seat.
That noise says it all.
Tony Bracey poised for the knockout.
Can't really kick myself for that one. Yeah, really nothing you can do. Exactly. Oh, I think you said you wanted. No. Yeah, exactly. What are you going to do?
The river card, a king.
Game, buddy. Thanks, man.
Cohen is done.
Jesse Cohen's 32nd World Series cash is a bittersweet one.
Sick turn.
Brutal way to go out.
We play pot, I'm just going to ship the flop. You want to call there, you can call there.
Bracey over 7 million. For Cohen, a lot of World Series cashes, but this, his first ever main event cash. Tony Bracey cashed in the main event in 2010 for almost 49 grand. He has surpassed that by far this year. Presently, our chip leader is Mike Shin, but there are many big stacks in this dwindling player pool. At an outer table, the end boss's main event could be coming to an end. Tony Gregg in the glasses at the far end shoved his last 11 big blinds with 8 tray. He was called by the pocket. 6 is held by Ronald Giles in the cowboy hat.
Severely short stacked. Gregg just shoved with any 2 in the small blind.
The river card is a king, no help to Tony Gregg, and he is done.
That's the end, boss. Tony Gregg knocked out by a Canadian rancher.
Tony Gregg out in 50th. A great run, boss man. Good to see a cowboy hat back in the main event. Giles with $7.25 million. If you're looking for the polar opposite of Ron Giles, please meet new Texan Alex Keating.
That beard will haunt me for at least the next 3 main events.
It is a miracle of nature.
I haven't used this chip yet. Might be the first time. It's quite heavy. That sounds nice. I like that. It's got a ring to it. Oh, there it is. Oh dear, he's folded. Oh, there it is. I'll have it. I'll have it then. I'll have it, thank you.
Will Kassouf has already locked up the bracelet for this year's most talkative player.
He can be irritating, but it's hard to argue with his results. Have I mentioned he can be irritating?
Kassouf in 4th behind the law firm of Shin, Wong, and Josephine.
The main event is full of bad beats. It's unavoidable. Aces cracked, flushes into full houses into quads. It's the nature of the game. But some players seem to avoid the bad luck more than most. And Norman, you are the exact wrong person to be asking this, but how should poker players avoid bad luck?
I am a firm believer in the idea that you create your own luck. For instance, I don't live in the same city as you, and therefore I am lucky not to see you on a regular basis. Now, there is a fine line between good luck and bad luck. Carl Icahn had good luck, Gordon Gekko had bad luck. But let me answer your precise question this way. Novelist Meg Rosoff once said, "Every day a piano doesn't fall on my head is good luck." So poker players, you want to avoid bad luck? Just check for pianos over the table before you sit down.
Well, Norman, so far so good. No pianos in the Raptors. First-timer Mike Shin, the envy of everyone.
Let me tell you something, Mike. You seem like a nice kid. Please ditch the one earbud. It's Helmuthian and unbecoming.
First-timer Mike Nowitzki used to be the chip leader.
Let me tell you something, Mike. I hope you haven't lost your glasses. Nowitzki without glasses is like Lon without Norman.
Let's check in with Kara Scott.
Michael Nowinski is primarily an online poker player, but he does also play live. He says that playing in the main event, though, is such a unique experience that it's really hard to put into words, especially playing this deep, having a strong stack, and being in a position to have eyes on the November 9. He says it surpassed his expectations and is absolutely the most exciting moment of his life so far. He's really hit his stride here on day 6 and is having a great time at the table while his friends and family are watching at home in Canada.
Nowitzki is the main event at its best, a first-timer having fun and running deep.
Early in the tournament, there are main event rookies everywhere you look. Now late on day 6, this is new territory for just about everyone, but especially the first-timers.
Adam Kroc from Longmeadow, Massachusetts. It's a $10,000 buy-in, but once you start playing it, you don't really think about the money. It's just all the same. It's the same as a $100 buy-in, but it's been a lot of grinding. The main goal is obviously $8 million, but just see where it goes. Every table I've been at, I felt pretty comfortable. Today's probably the toughest day. I think there's like 100 people left in the tournament. It's starting to heat up. 6 main event. I've actually never been in this spot before, so I'm not gonna overreact, just gonna play my game. For dinner, I just kind of hung out at the sports book and watched the Sox Yankees game. Just take an hour to relax and get my mind off of poker.
I'm late. I'm literally running late.
Taking one hand at a time.
I'm still excited, but I'm really tired. I realize I'm playing this tournament. I don't even know what day it is today. It's a marathon. It's insane. It's insane. Almost 7,000 people started this. It's crazy. Aces against 7s. Flop quads. I don't really parade that much when I win, but I just can't contain it. I kept saying to myself the whole hand, don't get too excited, don't get too excited. And then the adrenaline just went off. I was like, wow, cool. I just couldn't keep still. My mum's been really big support. She's behind me the whole way. She taught me how to play, and I'm still here.
Mitch began this day 6 with about 1 million chips well below average. He's got 3 million well below average. King Jack offsuit. The Aussie from Perth with a raise to 325.
Speaking of first-timers, if you get a chance, go to pocket5s.com and read Lance Bradley's great story about 55-year-old Bob Brundage of New Windsor, Maryland, and his remarkable journey to this main event.
Tony Bracey in the small blind. Queen 8 into the muck. And now the 26-year-old Spanish-born Londoner, Sergei Rachok, Queen 10 of clubs.
By the way, at some critical time in our country's poker history, someone put out the advice that you should not look at your cards until the action is on you. I'm offering $1.25 to the first person to tweet me the name of this miscreant.
Rachok started with 8 big blinds, and he just makes a call there.
We've also gone from bending brims of hats to not bending them. The world is passing me by, and it hurts.
All right, heads up. Watson wondering why all of Rachok's chips aren't in the middle. Top pair for Watson. Rachok checks after missing.
I'm all in.
And that would put Rachok all in, and he folds.
All in a fold. Simple, clean, fast. I like it.
Pressure by Watson on the shorter stack. The 28-year-old approaching 3.6 million chips. From one first-timer to another, checking on Mike Nowitzki. He has ace high on a completed board.
Don't got too much.
Nowitzki's glasses are back, and all is right with the world.
Across the table, Paul Hofer bluffed at the pot with a busted straight draw.
25-year-old German bracelet winner. It was the standard flop a gutter, turn a double gutter, whiff the river, bluff. When Richard Nixon played poker, this was his signature play.
Hofer, German-born poker pro living in Austria, like all German-born poker pros. Mike thinks something's up.
875? 885. 885? Yeah.
Nowitzki willing to put in the extra 10K, I think.
He does.
Sure.
And what a call it is. A nice read of the situation by Nowitzki.
This Nowitzki is a beast in sheep's clothing. Hofer bluffs off 1/3 of his stack on the river.
And takes a hit to his psyche, his confidence, his table image, you name it. His former chips propel Nowitzki over 10 million. At one of our feature tables, Spanish poker amateur Fernando Pons called a big all-in with jacks. Jan Sukanik 4-bet shoved with 45 big blinds with ace-queen off. And there's an ace for Sukanik.
This was a massive flip, 2 deep stacks, and now Pons will be left with just 8 big blinds.
Indeed, Norman. He is effectively all in as well. Turn card, another tray. Sukanik still good.
The Spanish amateur looking for a river jack to knock out Jan Sukanik.
And the river? Jack! Oh. Pons hits the 2-outer for the win, and Sukanik is knocked out.
And for the second time on day 6, Fernando Pons is on the brink and survives.
Oh, Sukanik gone at 49th, earning a payout of over 142 grand, a good investment of his 10K.
Hey, in the NFL, that little wave goodbye would be 15 yards for taunting.
Sukanik with his farewells. Fernando Pons with a dagger on the river. He moves into 8th place.
The best poker content on the internet.
Your super high rollerball 7 champion.
Oh yeah!
Wheels are coming off.
That's the craziest hand I've ever seen. What was that bite?
Go to get.pokergo.com/YT24 for $20 off a new annual subscription.
Welcome back to the Rio. Big money always on the line in Las Vegas, but it's a little bigger with the World Series of Poker main event boiled down to a precious few. After a couple of more eliminations, the payout will jump to almost 175 grand. At our featured table, Rachok raised under the gun to 700,000 with ace-jack suited. Tony Bracy folding his big blind. Cliff Josephie 3-bet with ace-queen off, so it's back to Rachok.
Rachok had committed more than half his stack with that original raise.
And commits the rest of it. And Josephie calls. Rachok at risk and dominated by Cliff Josephie.
God. I fold the best hand again.
3s.
6s.
I've got to root for Rachok here. He's a former waiter, and we've got to stick together.
You were a waiter?
Not a very good one.
Yeah, tell me something I don't know.
Okay.
This is where I should have ice at.
I mean, I had 4 deuce. This is where I excel.
Here is the flop.
Oh, yeah.
And Josephie speaks the truth as he turns the screws with top pair.
Rachok doesn't look encouraged.
He has a Broadway draw.
I folded 2 kings, so.
Rachok doesn't look amused either.
Turn card. A deuce, no help to the former electrical engineering student.
Rachok has to have a king or he is whamboozled.
The river card, a 7. Josephie scores the killer blow to Sergei Rachok.
He was a kid with a dream.
His largest career cash by about 122 grand. Josephie now challenging for the main event chip lead.
Cliff Josephy just looks like success follows him wherever he goes.
You're going to see the
Muttontown may not be the most ideal town name, but that's about the only thing that is not ideal about where Cliff lives.
Poker player is what I do for a living, but it's not who I am. Prior to poker, I was in the stock market when I got really good or hot, started finding ideas for hedge funds. My wife is great. We met through mutual friends and we hit it off right away.
When I saw him, I knew there was like, you know, I had that spark.
It was love at first sight.
We met in our early 20s.
3 boys, that's what I was rooting for. Wanted that boy first, wanted that boy second, and wanted that boy the 3rd time as well. So we got what we wanted.
Well, they make fun of me.
This is not panini bread, by the way. You're killing me.
I'm the only girl in the house. Even my dog is a boy. He's a great dad. He's a little more strict than I am.
What are the rules? Aren't there rules in this house? Just a dad trying to raise my kids the right way. You guys want to play wiffle ball after lunch?
Definitely.
This is where all the...
It's where the magic happens out here.
Yeah,
Right.
they love this. Well, you're real fancy. Nice shot.
He's very laid back.
Wow.
He loves spending time with us.
So baseball's not your sport? Oh, yeah!
It's good to get outside and have fun together.
There's 3 boys. They're a little nutty. So it's not a quiet house.
Oh, that's going on TV.
I think we have a pretty healthy family relationship, which includes a fair share of disputes, many of which start over wiffle ball.
That happens every day in the Josephy household. There's always an incident, and that's when the game usually ends. To be able to have a backyard and be able to play and do whatever, I think that's the nuts. This is what we do. We eat lunch, and we play wiffle ball.
I believe that backyard could be the site of the next Yankee Stadium.
Talk about the nuts. Josephy wakes up with pocket aces under the gun and raises to 275. Mitch Watson, our first-timer from Australia, with pocket 6s.
And by the way, here's the problem with love at first sight. Eventually, you take a second look.
I assume you're speaking for your first ex-wife?
Good for you.
Watson made the call for 275. Klodnicki now with king, queen of hearts on the button.
Klodnicki, 37 World Series cashes, 12th at the 08 main event. Transplanted Philadelphian, now lives in the San Diego area.
And he will come along as well. Now Bracey in the small blind.
He's got the look. And he's getting 5-1 on his money here if he wants to call from the small blind.
He thinks he likes the hearts, but both his hearts are dominated by Klodnicki's hearts. So Bracey called, big blind folds, and we've got a busy flop ahead of us.
4-handed here. Pocket aces just 56% to end up with the best hand.
This is what pocket aces don't want. Here is the flop now. Queen, tray 8, 2 clubs, and despite all the traffic, the aces are okay so far. Bracey with middle pair, he checks.
A long, long time ago, Josephy played fast and furious. Now he plays slow and steady.
With the aces. And that's a third of the pot. And he's got the ace of clubs as well. Watson folds his pocket pair. Klodnicki with a pair of queens.
Klodnicki flops top pair, but Josephy raised under the gun pre-flop and then fired a C-bet into 3 opponents. Don't believe Chris will get too frisky here.
Klodnicki with about a third of the stack as Josephy's right now. And he will come along.
It's amazing how most players get more conservative after they get married and have kids.
Bracey folded his 8s, so heads up, top pair versus the biggest pair. Turn card now. Another tray, 2 pair for each.
Good card for the father of 3. The king no longer an out for Klodnicki.
He checks.
Now Klodnicki, the father of 1, might want to fire here. He's got to like queens up now in this spot.
Chris reaching for chips. And I'm not sure that's firing. That's a tiny bet of just 325.
Into a pot of 2.3 million. There is small ball, and then there's a ball that's too small for the naked eye to see.
And just a call from Josephy with aces up. River card now. 7 of hearts. So Josephy is best, and he checks again. And a check back.
Yes, Cliff Josephy always has it.
Should have opened the flop.
Ladies? Oh, ace queen. Where's the rest of that pot?
I don't play big pots.
Cliff Josephy assumes the position we all thought he would, chip leader of the main event. At this year's main event, Fernando Pons has had more than one time.
Wow. Wow.
His nines cracked aces, then a river jack gave him a 13 million chip stack.
I am reminded of amateur Chris Moneymaker's pocket eights cracking Humberto Brenes' pocket aces on his way to glory.
Pons does have a flair for the dramatic. The 37-year-old Spaniard is married with one daughter. About 5 years ago, he started playing poker and liked it, so he kept playing.
You see, he earned his main event seat through a 30-euro satellite. That also reminds me of Chris Moneymaker, who earned his main event seat through a $39 satellite.
Obvio, o sea, yo lo que esperaba era jugarlo ya era un sueño y cuando entré en premios ya fue otro sueño mayor y cada vez que iba pasando de día ya era algo increíble, no me lo imaginaba nunca.
I know we had a translation up there, but I believe he actually said, when I grow up, I want to be Cliff Josephy.
Pons has the action in the big blind. It was folded to Jason less in the small blind. He raised with ace-4. Pons has ace-8 suited. And here is the flop, and ace is up for Pons, just a pair of aces for Les. Les checks top pair.
Jason Les's father, Mark, drove out this morning from Costa Mesa, California. He was only coming if Jason made day 6 with at least 50 big blinds, because earlier this summer, he was driving out to watch Jason in a 6-max event, but Jason was short-stacked and busted when he was just halfway here.
Pons with top and bottom pair bets 325.
Well, now Jason's dad is here watching Jason call with the weak ace.
Sorry, Dad. There is a call. Turn card now. Is the jack of clubs. Les can only chop at best.
Jason and his father used to play in a weekly home game together, and Dad admits Jason usually got the better of him. Here, Pons is getting the better of Jason.
Les checked to Pons one more time. He's going to use the oversized red chip. I love it. The little frisbee in the middle. 635.
The two biggest stacks at this table, and not a good spot for Jason Les.
And he has chips in hand. And there is a call. Almost 2.7 million chips in the middle. River card. 6 of spades, no chop. Les checks again.
Jason Les is a really good player. He's made the final 50 of this main event, but I can't recall him winning a hand.
Pons with a bet of a cool 1 million.
I think Les can only make this call if he thinks Pons missed a flush draw. Pons has bet 3 straight times.
Les with top pair makes the call, but he'll need better than top pair.
2 pair, aces and eights.
And Fernando Pons will take that pot.
Pons gets healthier, and Jason Les just lost nearly 20% of his stack on that hand.
So that pot for Pons puts some distance between these two, but neither in danger with their hefty stacks. Back into the field, Will Kassouf jousting with his London buddy, first-timer Andrew Christoforou.
Make it 275. I don't know if I can pass at 650. I've got to play my hand. Otherwise, they'll call the forward collusion.
Make sure you raise so you can definitely lose the hand.
Yeah. Now that's collusion.
As usual, Kassouf combining squad douche with speech play.
I've got a big hand.
You serious? I'm ready to spin them over.
Well, I'm not going to go crazy, but I've got a hand. I'm not wasting time.
Oh, bloody hell.
You're the one who made it 650, ice cream.
Yeah, what do you want me to do?
Make it 275, see a flop.
Shut up.
All right, cool. I hope you're not bluffing me, man.
Cool, it's up.
Yes, sir.
Fish and Chips restaurateur got his 3-bet called.
You're the one who 3-bet.
He 3-bet because he actually has a hand.
All right, here's the flop. Top pair for Christoforou.
Not a bad flop for mine, all right?
Leave it.
Huh? Oh, I've checked.
Christoforou now has a hand and a half.
Bit more, go on, bit more. Bit more. Put some greens. Put some greens in. Put orange. Put the big one in. How much is that?
410.
I believe that's 405 more than Kassouf wants to pay.
You went less?
Because I realise I want you to call.
You realise? You just realised now? You haven't misread your hand again, have you? Like you did on the PG table. Have a look. If you've made a mistake, can you take it back? Did you make a mistake?
Hurry up.
Did you make a mistake?
I don't need camera time.
You don't?
No.
Well, the cameras love your time. I'm not taking a look at your cards. You're going to show anyway, yeah?
Yeah.
Both cards?
I'll show you one.
You said you'll show both?
That was pre-flop.
No, okay, you said, are you a man of your word or not?
I know you lot are fed up. I'm fed up as well, man. Oh, I thought you've had enough.
No.
Look.
Up on. So lazy.
Shut up. I don't tilt. How many times have I got to tell you? I do not tilt.
You got lucky.
I know, but I don't tilt.
I had a pair.
I do not tilt.
He had a pair last week.
Everyone should take lessons from Andrew on how to handle Will Kassouf.
Had a pair. Look, you got lucky on the spot.
Can I get a table change, please? Who's in charge?
I was winning. You got lucky. You have to get there. I'll let you get there. What can I do? If I come over the top, I'll lose.
What would you do with my hand, Will?
You're not good enough to pass it.
What would you do with my hand? Flash behind?
The hands play themselves.
All right, back to a featured table. Jason Les thanking his lucky stars. He got moved off that table. In the big blind with jacks, he likes the small flop, but more so does Tom Marchese, who has pocket queens. Les bets $800,000.
This is all you need to know about Tom Marchese. $5 million plus tournament paydays, 21 other six-figure scores. He's 28 years old.
A third of the pot bet from Les is called by Marchese. Deuce of hearts on the turn.
Great board for Les's pocket jacks, but he is crushed here.
And he thinks he's doing the crushing. Wow, almost half the pot.
All in.
Marchese
all in with the smaller stack.
The deuce didn't change anything, so Les has to wonder what beats him. But I think he can get away from this one. What's the worst hand Marchese would shove with? Would he even do this with top pair, top kicker?
He makes the call, and Les is a card away from taking a very costly hit.
Les needs some Fernando Pons luck. A jack and a jack only sends Tom Marchese home.
River card's a 9, the double up complete for Marchese. A great poker mind, but his poker celebration's a work in progress. Jason Les just can't catch a break or a card. 64% of his stack finds a new home right in front of Tom Marchese. Welcome back inside the Amazon room late on day 6 of the World Series of Poker main event. 45 players remaining, just 5 full tables of 9. Cliff Josephy is top dog right now.
And those tables filled with dangerous players. Josephy, Tom Marchese, Dan Colman, Paul Volpe, James Obst, Max Silver, Jared Blesnick, former November Niner Antoine Saout, and Chris Klodnicki.
As you mentioned, 31-year-old Chris Klodnicki, no stranger to deep runs here. 8 years ago, he finished 12th. That was the year Peter Eastgate won it all.
It's hard to root for an Eagles fan, but if there was an Eagles fan to root for, it would be Chris Klodnicki.
You know, Norman, I can't recall an Eagles fan has ever done well at the main event. I don't know. Maybe it'll happen this year. Chris with a stack well under average. He has ace-7 off. He has seen Matt Moss raise with pocket 9s.
Moss, 24-year-old British pro, economics degree from the University of Bristol. They are not affiliated with ESPN.
Klodnicki with the weak ace. And that's more than just a call. That's a re-raise to 650. Tony Bracey now. You like his look?
He's got the look, Lon.
No. Choice is so critical at this stage. A misstep can be so costly to your chances. So now back to Moss.
Well, pocket 9s feel great. Then you get re-raised and you feel like you misclicked and sent a text to the wrong person.
The cash game specialist living in Macau to play there makes the call. We are heads up. Pocket 9s against ace-7.
By the way, these two guys have way too much hair to be running this deep in the main event.
Here is the flop now. And Moss scores a set of 9s. Klodnicki misses. Moss checks it.
Flopping a set feels like the text came back as undelivered, and now you have a second lease. And if I'm sitting across from Klodnicki, if the purple Oakley shades don't tilt me, the Wu-Tang t-shirt would.
Moss had 2 reasons to check. He checked to the pre-flop aggressor as standard, plus he's got the set. Klodnicki with ace-high bets $600,000.
Klodnicki bets with nothing. Moss proudly says he graduated in the bottom 30% of his class and proudly says he's never had any job besides poker.
Moss with the 3 9s just calls. Over 2.8 million in the middle. Klodnicki looking for help. Another 8. Moss improves to an unbreakable full house. Moss checks again.
Klodnicki now officially drawing as dead as a doornail.
The last time you said that, I had no idea how a doornail could be dead, and I still have no idea how a doornail can be dead.
We live in different worlds, my friend.
Moss checks. Klodnicki wisely checks back.
Very prudent.
River card, a 4 and a 3rd spade. Don't know how Moss gets any more from Klodnicki here with ace high.
I ran into Moss the other day at Ross Dress for Less, and he got to that shirt just before I did.
All right, Moss.
He decides it's time to announce himself.
2/3 of the pot, almost $1.9 million.
1,885,000.
1,885,000. If it were just 85,000, I don't think Chris could call here.
Yeah, calling here would be for about 60% of Chris's remaining stack.
Moss just gave the false tell of gulping, but Klodnicki wasn't looking at him. And I don't know what Chris is thinking about here.
And a call with ace high.
Such a fine line between hero and zero.
My goodness, Chris Klodnicki.
Watch. 1,885,000.
Nice hand, bro.
Moss, born in London, gets back to visit London and his mates from time to time, waiting for the newly won chips to find their way to his doorstep. Klodnicki left with just over $1 million. Are you wondering about that call with ace high? So are we. Antonio, Phil, you got any answers for us?
Wow, Klodnicki takes the ace-7 and rides it like a super cowboy into, well, maybe not the sunset, but off a cliff. What is going on
No
here?
airbag. He sees the cliff and decides, I'm just going to keep going and go. That's what I'm going to do. Everyone's got a style. That's Klodnicki's style.
I mean, Klodnicki's a super wizard. He's gotten deep and he's doing tons of stuff right. Don't get us wrong, but this one seems a little warbly.
Right. I mean, I understand what he's thinking. He probably put his opponent on 10-jack and just decided to go with it. But in these spots, long term, it just feels like, look, your opponent called the bet on the flop out of position. He could have something. The 8, of course, made it kind of tricky because it's like, well, he either has pocket 9s or quad 8s. He didn't slow play pocket kings. So it's a little tricky. I understand why, but there's just no reason for this call.
It's too thin.
Unless you have a dead soul read.
It's $2 million. It's too much.
It wasn't $2 million, it was $1.885 million.
All right, we'll keep it at this table. Mike Shin, recent chip leader, still with a monster stack, has joined the table in seat 5. He'll have the big blind.
Joe, it's kind of crazy on day 3. I'm sitting there on your table stressing about bubbling. And now we're here, right?
Yeah.
Producer, no, he was on my table. And he was bullying me around a bit. And I'm like, I just don't want to play a hand. I just want to min cash.
I was not bullying anybody.
Dude, you dominated that table.
Just because you broke like 7 rules while we were sitting at that table. And I had to say something about it.
What were the 7 rules?
A bully. Huh?
No, I mean like a poker bully.
There were like 3 rules broken like multiple times.
He's been a good boy.
Which rules?
Huh?
Which rules?
You want me to say it out loud?
I don't remember.
The only thing he did today was raising at a turn.
Speaking in English during a hand while you had a hand. Collusion. Telling people let's play friendly during a hand.
How did I collude?
Klodnicki all in with Queen Jack of clubs.
Oh no, it's more.
Speaking English?
No, he was speaking German to somebody.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the middle of the hand.
Well, you've called him out
like
now.
while he's like in the hand.
He's been good today.
I believe
he just raised out of turn once.
I just raised out of turn once.
No, I believe it. He didn't do it intentionally. There was no malice.
I was a little bit too excited. I think I just didn't realize what I was doing. Like first time playing the main event and making the money.
Sorry, what was the count?
1,065,000.
Thank you.
No call.
And Mike Shin, the newcomer with queens, makes a call. Klodnicki will need help early and often to survive.
Klodnicki, 8 big blinds left, and he is crushed.
Nice. The weight is fun, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's great.
All right, here's the flop. Chris at risk. Just one club. Shin still ahead.
10 of clubs? 10 of clubs, maybe?
10 of clubs would be the best card for Chris.
Turn card is the 10 of clubs. He's got a two-way straight draw and a straight flush draw.
Call the river. I said I was going to start sucking out, so. I mean, this is a good time to start.
What do you want? Does it matter?
I mean, I'll take, anything that wins me the hand at this point.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not going to get greedy.
Yeah. He's like, pick one. You got so many outs now, he's like, pick one.
The river 4 is not an out. Shin is good. Klodnicki is out.
Nice hand, good game.
Chris Klodnicki's second very deep run in the main event.
This one ends in 45th place. Mike Shin now with 133 big blinds, floating near the top of the leaderboard. Near the end of the day, Queen Jack busted Klodnicki, but it was his call with ace-7 that led him down the path to ruin.
I'm sorry that you're the bubble boy, but I'm happy to say on behalf of the World Series Poker, you got a seat in the next year's WSOP.
In some strange way, the experience of being the bubble boy, it's just, there's only maybe 40 living people who have that experience. So I have that experience. And I must say that I will take my duties as the bubble ambassador, poker's bubble ambassador, very seriously, because for everybody who plays for hours and hours and days and doesn't quite get to the money, but just never give up, which I didn't, and then all of a sudden something very strange and magical happens. So you just never know in the game of poker. So I take my duties very seriously, and shall do my best to represent all the bubbles, the poker bubblers everywhere.
We are thrilled that Will Ferrell will be back next year.
Last year's bubble ambassador making the most of his free entry this year. Jonas Lauk facing a 3-bet shove from Chang Loa with ace-jack suited. Lauk with just ace-10.
And I hate to point fingers, but Lauk has been an awful bubble ambassador. Just cares about nobody but himself.
Lauk makes the call. So Chang Loa at risk, 37-year-old software engineer at Google in Sunnyvale, California. Lauk came second in the 2014 Addy-only tournament.
Whose ace-10 is that? Look at Lauk's hat. I think that's short for Brexit no.
Actually, BRXTN is a hip-hop artist.
Oh, I forgot you listen to hip-hop when you take a hot tub.
Here's the flop. A flush draw for Loa, top pair for Lauk.
All right, 50-50.
King on the turn.
Turn card. Deuce of clubs, Lauk still ahead. Same outs for Loa.
Loa still looking for a jack or a diamond.
The river is a red 5, but a heart. Lauk hangs on. Loa heads out.
See, you win hands like that, you avoid being bubble boy.
Loa with his best ever poker cash. I mean, it's not Google money, but he's got to be happy. Lauk, meanwhile, accumulating. It's a tradition on day 6, over 8 million now.
By the way, that is a scarf and a life preserver Lauk has on.
All right, back at one of our feature tables. It's amazing how quickly the field shrinks. The bristly Alex Keating in the big blind thinking of getting involved with 5-4 of spades. Wojciech Ruzicka raised from early position with aces.
Ruzicka, 30-year-old poker pro from Prague, Czech Republic. Keating, 28-year-old pro living in Austin, Texas.
And Keating wants to stick around.
Prague and Austin, 2 underrated cities, but I've got to go with Prague.
You've been to Prague?
No, but I haven't been to Austin either.
Here's the flop. Ruzicka's aces are still ahead, but Keating with a gut shot now. Alex bets 400,000 on that connected board.
Of course, if you have a big pair, you can't like that flop. Yes, they're still aces. Yes, you'll still be calling.
Ruzicka studied cryptography in school, didn't graduate, but that's Da Vinci Code stuff. And he does call with those aces.
5 high, not happy that he got called. That's what happens when you semi-bluff with 5 high. You're often not going to be happy.
Keating, a free spirit, enjoying the poker life right now. And there's a 6. Keating would have given his left sideburn for that card.
That's a good card for Keating, right?
Very good card.
I thought so.
He checks his 9 high straight.
You bet when you don't have it. You check when you do have it. I don't understand poker.
Ruzicka checks his useless aces. 4 of clubs. 5-4 for Keating is good.
You know, I have never seen that board before. And actually, in the history of poker, which I realize is a lot of poker, it's possible those precise cards with those precise suits have never been on any board anywhere.
You think that's possible?
Oh, sure.
$1,000,001 from Keating.
And I'm talking about online poker, too. If someone can show me a screenshot of this exact board, well, we're all going to Sizzler.
Good call. Oh, I thought you said call.
That's not right. There was no call. He's trying to induce one, pretending he heard good call.
It's a good call if you make it.
Yeah, it's a good call for Keating if he makes it. Ruzicka, not too sure.
Can he lay down the aces?
I know what you have. You have queens.
Good guess.
Just kidding, you have jacks.
Well, you're getting colder now, but it's the same idea.
Oh, man, that's gotta suck.
Wojciech makes the pro lay down.
Show it one time.
Pay me.
Show one. Show one.
Yeah, you never show when I want you to show.
So 5-4 cracks ace-ace, but Ruzicka avoids major damage.
Good call. Oh, I thought you said call. I know what you have.
The best poker content on the internet.
Your super high roller bowl 7 champion.
Oh yeah!
Wheels are coming off. That's the craziest hand I've ever seen. What was that bite?
Go to get.pokergo.com/YT24 for $20 off a new annual subscription.
Michael Ruan, one of 43 remaining players in the field. This 28-year-old from New Jersey isn't flashy, doesn't draw attention to himself, but his stack does otherwise. Nearly $14 million and climbing.
Michael's typical day in Hoboken is wakes up late, grabs some lunch, often that legendary roast beef mozzarella and gravy sandwich at Fiore's. Then he hangs out on the water. It's a good life.
Ruan just turned a club flush draw and bet more than half the pot. His opponent, the Alberta Cowboy, Ron Giles, open-ended with second pair.
You cannot bluff the sheriff. And although Ron Giles is a Canadian rancher and businessman, he looks and plays like a sheriff.
And the sheriff wants to check raise Michael Ruan. And it looks like he's getting a rebate from the dealer, Norman.
Well, I believe Giles meant to raise more. With the min raise, Ruan is getting about 4.5 to 1 to call here.
All right, so it is just 1.5 million total. Ruan can afford to prospect. He has 3 times the stack remaining as Giles, and there is the call.
Ruan's hoodie doubles as a handkerchief.
All right, river card now is a club. Ruan rivers the club flush.
Ron Giles, oldest player left in the field, 65 years of age.
Giles will bet his hand. 1.3 million. He can kiss those chips. Bye-bye.
Well, that's another small bet. I guess Giles is trying to get thin value from second pair. Or maybe he's turned his hand into a bluff, and you cannot bluff a 28-year-old pro from Hoboken whose hoodie doubles as a handkerchief.
And Ruan raises enough to put Giles all in.
Giles with 22 big blinds left. Don't think he wants to call them off with second pair.
And he does fold. Giles' main event run still alive, but his fuel indicator beginning to flash with just 22 big blinds remaining. Ruan, meanwhile, on Joseph's heels for the chip lead.
That's a big stack. He could store some of those chips in the hood part of the hoodie.
Ah, good idea. We are down to 42 players. So we get back to our feature table.
You see that Cliff Josephy went to the University of Michigan, the Long Island of the Midwest.
12 main events, 120,000 in buy-ins. He's cashed for 44,000. So, with his money this year, he's finally in the black for the main event. With ace-jack, he raises to 275. Dan Colman at the table with 8-5 of spades on the button.
Have you seen the video of Dan Colman wielding nunchucks? It's one of his hobbies. He's intimidating enough at the poker table. I wouldn't want any piece of him in martial arts.
No matter what he does in his career, he's in the black. 25 million in winnings, a re-raise to 675.
In position, Colman raises with the suited three-gapper. That is above my pay station. He three-bets it with nothing right into the wheelhouse of the biggest stack in this room. That's martial arts on the felt.
Absolutely. And for you novices, this is how pros accumulate chips against you. Can he do it against Cliff?
I don't know if I would like ace-jack offsuit now.
He was solid.
Let me see how much you're playing down. I'm all in.
Cliff raises enough to put Colman all in, and a snap fold from Dan.
Wow. If Josephie is wrong there and Colman had a big pair or a hand like ace-king or ace-queen, that could be a big hit to his stack, but he was confident in his read. They teach reads like that at Michigan.
So Josephie building at the expense of Dan Colman, who drops below 4 million chips here at the main event. Cliff Josephie's stack continuing its northerly heading, 18 million and climbing, still at the top of the leaderboard. Of the main event, just 1 hour from completion here at the Rio All-Suite Hotel and Casino. Juan McCarron on hand with Norman Chad and Kara Scott. 36 players left. We've got an all-in and call. Center screen, amateur Carlton Tartar with pocket sevens at risk against the pocket eights of Josh Weiss.
Any seven of spades and any seven of clubs. Yeah. How many in the deck? I don't know.
I can take 4 hearts.
You'll take 4 hearts as well, yeah. Take your time, there's no rush. Take your time, we don't want to make a mistake. Whenever you're ready, we just burn and then 3 on the flop. You've done this before, right? Take your time, no rush. Whenever you're ready, Dean. Ready? Okay, here we go, he's ready.
All right, there's our flop. Jack 6 ace, the bigger stack. Weiss still good with the eights.
Weiss, 35-year-old San Diego lawyer. Tartar, 52-year-old Washington, D.C. CPA.
Card on the turn, you know it.
Kassouf, 34-year-old gadfly.
emceeing the hand right now. No help to Tartar there.
All right, one time. Gotta use it.
This will be a good time. This will be a good time for the one time. He said this is his one time. Which one? Call it in. 7 of spades, 7 of clubs.
7 of clubs.
7 of clubs. He's called it in.
Yeah.
So sick of it. 7 of clubs.
The river is the 6 of clubs, and Carlton Tartar is out in 36th place.
So Tartar is gone. Since Kassouf miscalls all the cards, shouldn't he have to go with him?
Weiss continues his nice run. The Maryland CPA will cash out for over 216 grand. Alex Keating's stack shorter than his beard now.
But he can pull an ace of clubs out of that beard at any time on any hand.
50-year-old Cliff Josephie seems to be doing everything right.
Nice guy, nice family, nice looking. That's 3 strikes in my book. He is out.
Tommy Miller is an architect just down the road from Cliff.
East Hampton. This fellow lives in East Hampton? That's like living on a year-round yacht.
Also in the field is Dan Colman. If anyone is comfortable on the big stage, it's the 26-year-old from Massachusetts.
1-drop champ, new attitude. Dan's chips are low, but according to my calculations, his chances of making the final table are high.
Every table is loaded, and this one no exception. Colman is the short stack here.
He's got 20 big blinds. That's like real humans having 70.
2 to his right is the big stack, Cliff Josephie.
A 50-year-old internet poker legend. He has to be the coolest dad at pickup and drop-off.
The average stack now with 35 players remaining is about 9.6 million. Kakwan Lau, born in Hong Kong, grew up in Spain, back in Hong Kong now, folds to Matt Moss, ace-5 of spades. He lives in Macau. He raises to 350. Moss working with a stack of nearly 16 million. First-timer, Adam Crack folds. Max Silver, another Brit. Final table, the 2011 World Series of Poker Europe main event, folds to John Sin on the button.
31-year-old LA pro.
Ace-Jack offsuit.
He's rooming here with fellow pro Lance Keating, who's also still alive at this main event.
Sin has bounced around cities and IT jobs in the real world, and he re-raises to 875. Josephie in the small blind with pocket 9s.
Josephie with the best hand, the best life, the best home wiffle ball game. He doesn't like playing big pots, though.
Sin began the hand with 4.6 million. Moss, 15.9 million.
Playfully trying to catch Sin off guard.
A lot of action. Leading up to Josephie, and he folds the 9s.
How much you start with?
We're like 3.7 behind.
Moss with a very comfortable stack himself, nearly 100 big blinds.
Holding.
And he raises enough to put Sin all in.
Sin used to be an IT consultant. He could use a main event consultant right now.
Talk about main event pressure. And a full big stack poker. Moss read the situation perfectly.
I've got to tell you, I wouldn't have 3-bet if I were Sin. I wouldn't have folded if I were Josephie. And I wouldn't have 4-bet shoved if I were Moss. Yeah, I've got this game pretty much figured out.
Most players in Matt Moss's shoes would have just folded pre-flop and moved on to the next hand. But Matt showed some guts, put in another raise, and ended up winning the pot. Sometimes, Norman, poker is not about the cards.
If it's not about the cards, then why do they deal them? Huh? Good cards are better than bad cards. But you're not always going to get pocket aces or kings. There's that old expression, you got to play the hand you're dealt. Matt Moss turned his weak ace into a strong ace. Or as Cool Hand Luke once said, sometimes nothing can be a real cool hand. So re-raise with rags. Live a little. How many chances in your life are you going to get to win $8 million?
$8 million awarded live on ESPN November 1st. Our live final table coverage starts October 30th. To a neighboring featured table, Elliot Peterman has the action, Queen Jack of clubs.
Peterman married with 2 kids and lives in San Jose, Costa Rica on a golf course. He's a younger Cliff Josephie.
He raises to 350 on the button. David Loneray, another Brit with pocket nines. He calls.
Gonna have a look.
Gonna have a look. An Alex Keating production.
In the small blind. 1 and 2. Ace Jack.
Okay. First he announces he's gonna look at his cards. Then he looks at them again.
I'm all in.
And he says all in for $2,350,000.
Keating somberly shoves with 14 big blinds left.
Big blind folds to Peterman. Peterman sheds Queen Jack suited. Loneray with nines.
That's good.
He pays the rent with his poker earnings, makes the call. Alex Keating on the cutting block.
Oh, you got it right? Okay. Good luck, bro. You too. Either way.
All right, our flop. King 8, pocket 9 still good for Loneray.
Alex Keating has put himself in the limelight this main event, but that light about to stop shining on the Austin, Texas pro.
7 is no help to Keating, a striking lack of commentary from Alex.
But like Will Kassouf, Alex Keating has been a whirlwind of table talk, sometimes amusing, sometimes annoying. Right now he is silent and in need of an ace or a jack.
The river card is a 4. Loneray takes it. The bearded one is out.
We've lost one of our town criers. He was rambunctious for a long time. Now he is restrained as he goes out. Great, great run.
He cut quite a figure here at the main event. Loneray stacks a nice pot. He'll have 71 big blinds to work with now. The current payout exceeds his total lifetime winnings. He's a happy man. Alex Keating done in 35th place.
Just feels like they're taking him to the gallows.
The main event will be a much quieter place now without Alex Keating.
I find it weird that you can actually trade this money for goods and services. And I forget about that sometimes because I usually just use it to play more poker. See you guys next time.
I'll kind of miss him.
Alex Keating entertained us, but his show is over. Ours will continue.
The best poker content on the internet.
Your super high rollerball 7 champion.
Oh yeah!
Wheels are coming off. That's the craziest hand I've ever seen. What was that bite?
Go to get.pokergo.com/YT24 for $20 off a new annual subscription.
Main event! All right!
Wow, good cards.
We gonna have a problem?
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
You look nervous.
Take your cards. Go like this.
That's not very impressive.
Wow, that's really good, actually. I'm really worried that this table is going to be boring.
It's fun for the whole family.
Let's go down to Kara Scott now with Alex Keating.
It's been an incredible run. Alex, talk to us about how the experience was for you.
Well, this was just, it's actually my second day 6, but this one just felt just so much more exhausting with every day. It's a great experience. Like, I highly recommend it to go 6 days playing a poker tournament. it's just like, it's an incredible amount of stress. I couldn't even imagine doing it again. But it was really enjoyable to do and just to meet a whole bunch of new people.
What's next for Alex Keating then? Where do we see you?
Actually, for me, for Alex Keating, it's I do a meditation at the end of every World Series. It's like 10 days, surprisingly no talking at all. So that's what's next for me. I always decide when I'm going to do it, win, lose, or draw. And then, you know, I want to go see my friends back home. Yeah.
There's going to be a lot for you to reflect on, I think, in your 10-day meditation. It's been an incredible run. Thanks so much for talking to us.
All right, thank you.
We are now down to 34 players from the original field of 67-37. A lot of talented players out, but a lot left, Norman.
And 6 Brits still in the field. Man, I thought we got rid of them in 1776.
One player still in the mix is Dan Colman, a young pro with a very good perspective on the game.
The thing is, in No Limit Hold'em, you could be playing so great for the first 30, 40 hours of this tournament, but just one mistake and your whole stack is gone. You know, one hand, you can lose all your chips. So you just have to be on point throughout the whole tournament.
Colman, the short stack at this table with 2.9 million. He'll like those pocket 10s more so if he learns Max Silver has raised with pocket 9s.
I'm all in.
You heard him.
Colman pushes with 18 big blinds.
Lau folds queen, jack. Button folds. Adam crack.
How much is it?
It's a little bit over 3.
It's about 3.
What do you have?
I can say right. 9s.
It's tough.
It's a tough spot. Your timing seems pretty strong, but maybe I'm wrong. Didn't count. I guess you probably knew how much I had already. I don't feel like I'm gonna fold, but just want to think this through.
It's a lot of your chips.
It is. I'm aware of the fact.
Dan Colman talking to opponents. He's morphed into Daniel Negreanu.
And it's the main event as well.
It is for a lot of Silver's chips. If he calls and loses here, he'd be down to 5 big blinds.
Silver calls.
10s.
Colman a clean board from a double up.
Yeah, that was a tough decision for Max Silver. He had to hope they were flipping or that Colman maybe had pocket 7s or 8s.
You taught me into it, Dan.
I'm a live pro. See what works out.
All right, here's the flop. Colman at risk. Silver with a gut shot to give Colman a sweat.
The crowd goes wild.
Colman still at risk. Silver in for most of his chips.
I'll take a 4.
4.
Right
I was thinking 4 as well, but 3's the same.
4's more fun, though. I don't know why.
I think actually 3's more fun.
Turn card, another 5. Colman, 1 card from his double.
There apparently are no pictures in this deck, which is good news for Silver. He needs an 8 or a 9 to knock out Dan Colman.
The river card, the king of clubs. Colman will keep his seat while Silver's chances take a hard turn downward.
Yes. 2.9, 6.5?
6.5, yeah.
Silver below $1 million. Dan back where he began day 6, but 6.3 million now doesn't buy as much as it used to in the main event. Dan Colman, widely considered to be one of the best heads-up players in the world, born in Massachusetts. He lives in Brazil now, in part to play online poker.
The 26-year-old is a reluctant poker pro, and in that regard, he reminds me of another young phenom, Fedor Holtz. They both seem to feel that there's more to life than poker, and while it's great to play, it shouldn't be the end game.
Well, short stack Max Silver just shoved his remaining stack into the pot, flopping top pair. John Sin called with king jack of hearts to put Max at risk.
Sin would be down to 17 big blinds if he loses this to Max.
Turn card gives Sin a flush draw and a river full of outs.
Never easy.
Sin goes from 6 outs to 15.
At least make it the 8 of hearts if it's going to be hard, you know?
It's all right. I'm not all in, so I don't know. If
Max on his feet. The river is a hard, and Sin scores the flush and the knockout.
It's as if Max Silver saw that coming. Runner flush takes out the delightful British pro.
He's done in 33rd here at the 2016 main event. Johnson collects some much-needed chips.
Max, it's tough, you know, like 8's for sure fold, 10's for sure call.
I know.
9's.
Exactly.
As Dan Colman said, a couple of bad hands can spell the end of your tournament. So long, Max Silver. There is the bracelet the remaining 32 players are playing for, that and $8 million. East Hampton's Tommy Miller has been under the radar at this main event. Perhaps that's because he's not a traditional pro.
I started pursuing architecture probably around like 14 or 15. I just loved to draw, and building just excited me. Always been intrigued by the design of a building, and I was just drawn to it. Frank Lloyd Wright is probably, he's the man. He just has, just incredible designs, and his just flow and function of buildings are just incredible. I got my degree. I loved it, but I just kind of found poker towards the end of it, and I realized that I love poker more, so I wanted to pursue that and give it a shot, and here I am.
In a recent study conducted across all U.S. colleges, the major of architectural technology usually led to a career in poker, closely followed by a career in teaching architectural technology.
Miller raised under the gun with ace-jack. Jerry Wong 3-bet with a lesser ace. These are the two top stacks at this table. Wong with the 3 million chip advantage. Miller makes the call.
By the way, for you millennials, Frank Lloyd Wright was the Fader Holtz of architecture.
Miller still best as both players missed that flop. Miller checks to the Brooklynite turned Cocoa Creek, Florida resident, Jerry Wong.
Both these fellows married with 2 dogs. The key there, 2 dogs. You got 2 dogs, you're ahead of the game.
With ace-10, Wong bets $1,000,001, exactly half the pot.
Yeah, Wong 3-bet pre-flop and now continues as if he has something. The good news for him is, though Miller still has the better hand, he also didn't connect with that flop.
Miller wondering, does he want action? He's not going anywhere and makes the call.
When architectural technologists get started on a project, they are tough to shake.
Turn card now. King of clubs, 3rd club out there. Miller with the nut flush draw now.
Yeah, great card from Miller, who still has nothing.
He checks again.
Wong, 34-year-old poker pro. He fled Brooklyn. Fled it.
Got some of the red chips, the mini Frisbees worth $500,000 each. $2,008,000 this time, over 60% of the pot.
With squad douche, Wong keeps the pressure on. In Miller's spot, these are the hands that give amateurs the most trouble. You think you have the best hand, but you're not sure, and you don't want to lose a ton of chips to find out.
Miller with the flush draw. Says all in. $11.5 million, and Wong snap folds.
That was impressive. That was Frank Lloyd Wright-like. This is why I never invite architectural technologists to my home game.
Tommy, who has hosted many poker training videos, took Wong to school there and now has almost 19 million chips, while Jerry Wong has been reduced to 11.8 million. So Miller becoming a factor. All right, let's go to the lone outer table where Motormouth Will Kassouf sits.
This is the best show in town. This is the World Series of Poker Main Event. If you go deep, it's the best show in town. The cameras all laugh. It's all a good giggle.
Still seated across from Will is fellow Brit Andrew Christoforou, the restaurateur, enjoying a very successful first main event.
He has survived Will Kassouf and the fact he can't find good fish and chips anywhere in Las Vegas.
At the feature table sits one of the luckier players we've seen, Spain's Fernando Pons. He's also playing in his first main event.
Fernando satellited into the main event for about $30. This is actually his first trip to Las Vegas. All of his friends and family are back in Spain, watching anxiously all the updates online as he makes his incredible run. The father of one is actually not even a professional poker player, although he has been playing for about 5 years, and his entire family love the game. With his healthy stack and over $200,000 already locked up, the quiet Spaniard has a lot to celebrate.
Pons lives in Palma de Mallorca, Spain, which actually I would take over East Hampton.
Pons with Queen 10 of spades saw Dan Colman open for $360,000 with the hand of the hour, pocket nines.
Fernando is making a habit out of winning from behind, which is a graduate course at the Norman Chad School of Poker.
He's in the cutoff seat, 1 off the button. 16 million chips to work with and a raise to 1 million with suited seductive cards.
One day you're working for a home improvement outlet and win a satellite for a few euros into the main event. The next day you're 3-betting the great Dan Colman with 4 tables left at the main event. Nothing like poker.
Colman will call for $640,000 more. So Pons against the man who is 4th on the all-time live poker earnings list. Here's the flop. 8-8 Jack. Colman with 2 pair now is still best, and he checks to Pons with a useless gut shot as a 9 gives Dan a boat.
Pons is a big fan of fellow Spaniard Adrian Mateos, phenomenal young pro who already has 2 bracelets.
Pons with chips, $1,000,001.
The amateur continues to attack the pro. If Colman senses he's weak, he could check raise here.
Colman putting chips together. He has none of those mini red frisbees worth $500,000 each. He'll use the lavenders to make the call. Turn card, king of spades. Colman's still good, but pawns now with a flush draw and a live Broadway draw. Colman checks.
Pawns still without a hand, but it keeps looking better and better.
And he bets enough to put Colman all in here on the turn.
Fernando has bet the flop and turn with nothing. We call it a pawn scheme.
I have a hand I don't think I can fold.
The new Dan Colman talking it up. Almost a pot-sized bet from pawns.
Colman trying to figure out the amateur.
Where are you from?
Wow. Someone called Daniel Negreanu's room. I think his body has been snatched.
Dan is a heads-up specialist, as you mentioned, but a notorious online trash talker. He knows the verbal game.
It looks like Dan Colman lied. He did have a hand he could fold.
Show the bluff.
The amateur stands up to the worldly pro.
Show one card that's a bluff.
You got an 8?
What?
You got an 8? No, okay. The way you were talking, I thought you had an 8. Yeah. I was like, what the hell?
I had a pair of 9s.
Give the amateur credit. He put Colman to a decision and won.
Costly to Colman, but he's got to appreciate the play of pawns there. At the outer table, a crowd is gathered, and why not? It's aces versus kings, all in pre-flop. Lance Kading with kings and $7.14 million. Josh Weiss with aces and $7.24 million.
Keating, 44-year-old Indiana poker player and business owner. He also cashed in the main event last year, rooming with John Sin this summer.
Aces versus kings, and here is the flop. Ace 9-9, Weiss flops aces full.
That's real nice for pocket kings. Pocket kings, you were 0.1% on the flop.
And Keating needs quad kings to win it. The turn card. A 5, it's not going to happen. Lance Keating is done with this main event.
Every year, someone runs pocket kings into pocket aces deep in the main event. Lance Keating feels the pain of it.
What a cooler. They're going to recount the stacks to confirm, but another Keating, this one with no hair and no relation, is out in 32nd place. The eliminations are coming at a rapid pace. We're down to just 31 players late on day 6. Welcome back to the Rio. It's hard to see the final table on day 1 of the main event, but it's a lot clearer now, late on day 6. Dan Colman rarely looks happy, but his day 6 stack just won't grow. He's under the gun with Jack-9 suited.
Colman hasn't played that much poker in the last year. He's been practicing martial arts, hiking with his dog, keeping in shape.
A raise to 2.2 times the big blind, the latest standard in raises. Action around to Fernando Pons, his new nemesis with ace-jack.
They meet again, the talker Dan Colman and the quiet one Fernando Pons.
Pons. None of the big chips. This looks like a call. Yeah, happy to see a flop there.
Yeah, last time Pons 3-bet Colman pre-flop. This time just with a call. The man in white and the man in black.
And as you've noticed from our interview drop-ins, Dan Colman has become more comfortable and open with our cameras and his comments. Dan did take some hits for his less than enthusiastic attitude toward the media a couple years back. Heads up, he and Pons. Here's the flop. And a jack for both. Pons has the best kicker. Dan checks.
Yeah, Pons with top pair, top kicker.
And he checks back. Colman sees the tray of spades. He's out of position here.
Yeah, nice check back on the flop by Pons. Colman certainly might think he has the best hand now.
Colman checks again.
Of course, the 3 on the turn changes nothing. When's the last time a 3 on the turn changed anything?
So you're saying it's kind of like a deuce?
Yes, I'm saying it's like a deuce. Thanks for playing.
Pons is going to bet 350.
I'm all in.
Colman with a check raise all in.
How much?
Wow. If Colman gets called, he's all but out of here.
I had a pair of 9s the hand before. So you're in the same spot.
Colman clearly thinks he's ahead.
Well, Pons checked that flop, so maybe Colman thinks his jack is good.
I have a pair of jacks.
And there's a call. Dan Colman is in trouble.
Yeah, we heard Colman's soundbite earlier. You can play so great in No Limit Hold'em, and then just one mistake and your whole stack is gone. Hard to blame him here.
What was check?
Yeah, check on the flop.
Coleman needs a 9.
The river card is a queen.
Just playing with you guys.
Coleman's fine main event run comes to an end here on day 6.
You matured so much in this online. Seriously. I know, it's a pleasure playing with you.
31st place for Dan Colman, his first ever main event cash.
Good luck.
What are the chances that a guy who works for a home improvement store would outplay the great Dan Colman on 2 consecutive critical hands?
Well done, Fernando Pons. You have one of the biggest stacks in the room right now. Let's go down to Kara Scott, who was with our 31st place finisher.
Dan, what is it about your skills and your personality as well that means you do so well in these big, high-profile events?
I'm not sure. I think I'm pretty good at adapting to playing the super high rollers, playing against very skilled players, and also doing well playing versus a weaker field filled with more amateurs, just through playing a lot of online poker. And I played a lot of heads-up stand goes where I had to battle out against very good players, and then also I just sat in the lobby and waited for weaker players to sit me, so I have a lot of experience playing both.
Thanks so much for talking to us. Thank you.
Let's get back to Will Kassouf, thinking about his 6-high flush draw after a check from Jeff Hakeem on the left, who flopped bottom 2 pair.
Kassouf with a flush draw and action on him, so if you need to run to the store or perhaps the DMV, now would be a good time. Oh, he acted quickly.
He bets 520.
The best time of the moment, that's what I'm saying. Not bluffing the monster.
A check raise all in from Hakeem.
Yes, sir.
His strongest possible play.
What would you ship it? 3.9 over 500K?
This is for half of Kassouf's stack. There is no way he is calling here.
Why would you ship it then, Joe? Talk to me. Why so much? If you want me to call. Oh, giving you credit for a big hand here, like King Jack of Diamonds. But I'm winning. We got a spot on? At the moment. Would you want me to call? Yes or no? You don't have to tell me your hand. Just yes or no.
There's not a single hand Kassouf would be ahead of here. Not a single hand anywhere in the world.
He folds, but I don't think that's going to end the action, Norman.
Oh, they can see the hands now? I'm embarrassed to take that now. I should have snap called, right? I should have taken him out.
Hakeem with a nice pot there, but the breaking news is Dan Coleman's exit. Nice run, Dan.
Happy to hear that.
The payday is nice, but for those who go out now, it's bittersweet.
See you guys next time.
Nice playing, man. You played really good. I have a hand I don't think I can fold. I'm all in. Nice playing with you guys.
Alex Keating, Max Silver, Dan Colman, all gone from the 2016 main event. One player still very much alive. Current chip leader Michael Ruan, a New Jersey pro with a clothing issue.
It's unbelievable. I actually didn't even pack enough clothes to be here today. So I'm like, I have to go shopping tomorrow. I ran out today, and I never expected to be here, obviously, let alone have all the chips that I have. So I'm super excited. Never had an opportunity like this, and yeah, it's amazing.
And not only does Ruan have to buy more clothes, this morning he misplaced his sneakers, so his buddy Brian Piccioli lent him his pair. Maybe that's why Piccioli busted earlier on day 6. He was barefoot.
Michael in the big blind saw Matt Moss raise from early position with ace-king off. With queen-8 of hearts, Michael calls for 200,000 more.
2 deep stacks here. Ruan out of position in the big blind.
All right, here's the flop. A king in the window for Moss, but 2 pair for Ruan. Oh my, and he checks.
Moss says he wasted 18 months of his life playing StarCraft. I feel the same way about Tetris.
Nobody wants to bet. Tray of clubs, so queens up for Ruan, still best.
Ruan combs his hair every other Tuesday.
Now Michael wants to get some value. That is 675,000.
Moss, London-born pro, based in Macau now, and why not? Better gambling, better weather, better food.
He loves skiing all around the world. With top pair, top kicker, no good. He's got a call.
He's got to like top pair, top kicker in this spot, but no good.
River card. 9 of spades. Neither improves, but Michael didn't need to with his 2 pair.
Well, that's a scary card for both players. Flush got there and straight got there. But Ruan, wearing someone else's clothes, I believe, showing no fear.
850,000 from the bigger stack. And Moss with a quick call.
Give Ruan credit. He gets value there on the river where there seemingly isn't any. Plus, he's in week-old clothes, wearing somebody else's shoes, and he probably stole the watch.
Ruan collects a nice pot, and that increases his chip lead here late on day 6 of the main event. Meanwhile, Moss still with a very healthy stack, well above the current average of 11.2 million. Michael began day 6 with 5.6 million. He's had a net gain of over 20 million so far.
Matt Moss is used to 18-hour sessions when he plays cash games in Macau, so the main event grind is nothing to him.
He's cashed in 5 other events at his debut World Series of Poker. Loves to hit the slopes in France, Switzerland, US, and Japan. Moss raised to 360 under the gun with Queen Jack of clubs.
Is there a Hoodies R Us somewhere near the Rio? It's amazing looking at this table.
10, 9, 8, 7,
check them both again.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That's a good countdown. That's a good countdown.
Cliff's been tracking John's slow pre-flop play.
I learned my lesson yesterday. I called the clock on some kid because he took 20 seconds before he looked at his cards at the outer table.
Oh, that's brutal.
And then he lost his mind. He started freaking out, hardcore, being like, you tournament players stall and do this and that. And I'm like,
This is a tournament.
This was the main. This
is no, I'm saying it's a tournament. Okay.
Yeah. And he's like, I'll play.
Do you think it's acceptable to stall for no reason? I mean, like before you look at your cards.
And he was like,
for what reason? He jumps for every 63 or something.
Yeah. He was like
3 to the flop. Ruan's 9s are best with a gut shot. He checks to Lau, who's open-ended.
Here's the class every amateur wants to take, when to check in position rather than c-bet. We're building a new wing at the Norman Chad School of Poker for everyone who wants to attend that course.
Lau hits the good end of his straight draw. He is now best.
Yeah, Ruan figures his 9s are good, but the Hong Kong guy in the hoodie has a hidden straight.
Michael, suddenly a big dog in his hand, bet 675. Lau just calls. Moss folds his 2 face cards.
A smooth call from Lau. We actually don't have a class at the Norman Chad School of Poker for that.
River card, deuce of spades. Ruan comes up empty. Boy, how smart is he?
Well, with that board, I might still think that my 9s are good, but Ruan is wondering what Lau could be calling with on the turn.
Kwan Lau bets 2 million into 2.5 million.
Ruan would have preferred to get the showdown for free.
Ruan folds the pocket 9s.
Good laydown by the New Jersey pro. Saves a couple million chips.
Absolutely. Lau with 96 big blinds, a very healthy stack. Ruan gives up a few, but still leads the way in this main event. Let's get back to the outer table. Will Kassouf open for 380,000 with ace-jack.
The best hand at the moment, Kenny. No bluff.
Kenny is Kenny Hallaert, and he finds pocket 7s in the big blind.
Do a move like Joe done the outcome pass.
I'm going to give Hallaert the benefit of the doubt and assume he's cold. Otherwise, why would he be in a chartreuse hoodie?
He calls for 220 more. All right, here's the flop. Trey, deuce, king. Hallaert still best as Will miss that. Kenny checks.
Well, here comes the continuation bet to be followed by the continuation speech play.
That is 515,000.
Kenny's a respected tournament director in Belgium. He should not be in a chartreuse hooded sweatshirt.
He could be having the same issues as Michael Ruan.
Oh.
And the lavender chips go in for a call.
No speech play from Kassouf. I guess he's taking his mandatory union break.
Over 2 million in the pot, 10 of clubs. Pocket pair still good for Kenny. He added a flush draw and checks again. Broadway draw for Will.
You looked, you got a club? Let me have a look. I qualify.
You qualify for squat douche.
Kenny has seen it all, heard it all. Will checks back. River card now. 5 of diamonds, so Hallaert's 7s walk through the fire. And he checks.
Well, it felt like Kassouf gave up on the pot on the turn, but let's see.
Will does check back, and Kenny will take that pot.
Ace queen, nice clubs.
I don't think so.
Nobody asked him a question, and he still lies.
So I was gut shot flush draw brick.
Will's lies know no bounds. The players are headed for a short break, so we'll take 1-2. Architectural technologist Tommy Miller and his wife Liz, the poker pro from East Hampton, among the final 30 here on day 6. Tommy has the button. He looks down at Pocket Kings. Normally a lovely sight, but we know that main event first-timer Mike Nowitzki opened with aces.
Kings into aces again, but at least Miller has a stack that can sustain the blow.
Blinds up to 200,000 with a 30K ante. Nowitzki's raise was to 450. Miller repops it to over $1 million. And that's music to Mike's ears. Fold it around to Nowitzki.
Oh, Nowitzki with the Kassouf, a repeat. Remember, next year, 1 peak per hand. It will be a rule.
Mike with a shorter stack.
All in.
And now Miller with the Kassouf.
Makes the call. Nowitzki proudly shows the aces.
Miller knows to build a stack. You can't run kings into aces. Bad luck.
I have to stay on the. I gotta see the board flip up.
Oh, Nowitzki now does the fill lock, standing behind the dealer.
Miller with about a third of his stack at risk.
The heart's racing for sure.
It's all good for Nowitzki.
The first timer still good.
I don't want to say anything. I don't want to jinx this.
It's racing now, and
huh?
an hour ago you were
It's actually racing like a lot slower than I would think in this spot. Like it's actually calmer. My head is definitely spinning a bit. I won't lie.
Don't lie.
Don't think. Can't promise anything.
Turn card, Mike's still good. Miller with one more shot to crack the aces.
I don't know what would make Nowitzki's head spin more, a river ace or a river king. A river king would knock out Mike Nowitzki.
The river is paint, but a queen. A nice, easy run out for Nowitzki. Got just what he wanted. Aces hold up.
I started with a bit over 6.
Sometimes to build, you must tear down.
Miller plummets to an average stack instead of the tournament chip lead. Team Miller a bit shell-shocked at the moment, to be sure, but a lot of game to be played. Tommy aiming for his 3rd final table in a World Series event. Back of the feature table, it's been folded to the Spanish amateur, Fernando Pons, in the small blind with 6-5 of clubs, leaning to get a look at Adam Crack's much shorter stack in the big blind.
Pons speaks softly and carries a big chip stack.
And 2 small clubs, a raise to put Adam Crack all in.
All in.
Crack with kings will call all in, of course. Pons took a chance, but it's about to backfire.
Wow, nice call, Adam.
Yeah, nice call.
Really nice call.
Crack, 24-year-old Massachusetts pro living in Mexico. Another first-timer, and like Pons, he satellited into the main event.
Crack, the first timer we've been following at risk, but with a much better hand. Here is the flop, and there's a club, but the only club.
Crack standing up, but he's sitting pretty right now. 90% to double up against Pons, who has hit some great turns and rivers here and there.
You tell the truth, Norman Chad. Crack, the short stack at this table, trying to double up. Turn card is a king, and that will seal the deal as Pons is drawing dead.
The seal clap.
I don't know those guys.
Nice catch.
Adam Crack with the double up. He now sits with almost 7.6 million.
Did you think you had a pair? Did you think you had a pair when you all? I'm just kidding.
At another featured table, Paul Volpe standing, about to meet the same fate as Launay. Tommy Miller exchanged kings for aces and is on the cusp of knocking Volpe and his pocket queens out.
Volpe, one of the best and most accomplished players left in the field.
Turn card now. Another 6. Miller, one card from getting rid of a very dangerous player.
The two-time bracelet winner has to have a queen.
It's another 9, and Volpe is out of here.
Like Nike golf clubs, Volpe is done.
Paul won his second bracelet at this year's World Series of Poker, 20th in 2012's main event, and 29th this year.
See, sometimes to build, you must tear down first. Miller back on the uptick.
He does know how to rebuild quickly. He's back over 17.5 million. So once again, Miller, a top 10 stack late on day 6 of this main event. There is the main event bracelet. Don't look at it too long. It will blind you. Moss under the gun. King 9 of diamonds, a raise to 435.
19 more eliminations, and we will have the November 9. In other words, Lon, 19 of these players will never see the November 9.
Actually, Antoine Saoud is still in the field. He's already seen the November 9.
Well, then he should step aside and let others get to the promised land.
All right. Folded to John Sen.
Slowly going to fold.
He does. Josephine on the button. 10-8 off.
He's going to play with 10-8. I ran into Poker Pro Tommy Vitas earlier today, and he said Cliff hasn't played a hand since 1994.
A re-raise to $1.2 million as Josephine flexing some muscle. In the small blind is Michael Ruan with jacks.
I've got to tell you, with multi-way action, pocket jacks in the small blind has to be the worst hand in poker.
He just calls with the jacks, so folded back around to Moss under the gun, original raiser. And he lays it down.
Now look at those percentages, Lon. Ruan is now an 86% favorite to lose.
The two big stacks, a total count of more than 46 million at their disposal. Ruan is still best, but he hates to see the king. He checks.
Heads up, two players with their arms folded always favors the player in position.
Josephine with second pair does continue for $1.2 million.
Two deep stacked pros. Josephine flopped middle pair. Ruan with the best hand. Well, it's the Lon McCarran memorial hand, so how can it be best?
And it does go into the muck where it belonged about a minute ago. So even when pocket jacks is the best hand, it's still the worst hand.
Cliff Josephine lives a charmed life. If he's got a guest room, I'll take it.
Michael perhaps thinking, it's okay to fold the best hand once in a while, right? It's okay. Cliff Josephine, once again, the main event tournament chip leader. Let's go next door. Wojciech Ruzicka with ace-king off. Called the under-the-gun shove of Elliot Peterman holding pocket queens. Here's the flop for king ace. Boom, boom, top 2 for Ruzicka.
And the 30-year-old Czech pro now about to send home the 29-year-old English pro.
Ruzicka just KO'd Launay a moment ago with top set.
10 or a queen, one of the two.
Turn card. 4 of clubs, 1 card left in Peterman's main event if he doesn't hit.
No help for the Brit there. Elliot Peterman needs a queen on the river, and he doesn't seem to think he's going to get it.
River card, a deuce. Ace-king works for Ruzicka. Elliot Peterman is our 28th place finisher. Ruzicka now the chip leader as day 6 comes to a close.
Peterman's first main event produces a pretty good first ever World Series cash.
His best ever previous poker cash, 14 grand. He'll have spring in his step on the way to the cage. On to day 7, 27 players remain. Czech Republic's Wojciech Ruzicka with a $2 million chip lead.
Don't sleep on Tom Marchese, arguably the best player left in this field. And how can you still not root for first-timers Valentin Vornicu, Mike Novinsky, and Andrew Cristoforo?
The bottom third has some work to do on day 7, and we know Will Kassouf and his 6.1 million chips will talk us all the way through it.
As usual, a lot of 20-somethings and 30-somethings left. The only 40-year-old is Andrew Cristoforo. The only 50-year-old is Cliff Josephine. But hey, age is just a number, and I still love Tom Marchese's chances.
Am I actually a chip leader? Wow, that's pretty sick. You know, but it's a long way to go, long way to find a table. I need to run Run like today, yes, tomorrow again. Yeah. Any quarter millionaires about? Oi, oi!
Making day 7 of any tournament is a big deal.
And it's the main event as well.
But when it's the World Series of Poker main event,
Really nice call.
it's a really big deal.
I have a hand I don't think I can fold. Where are you from? I had a pair of 9s.
Big talent and big talkers are moving on.
I don't want to say anything. I don't want to jinx this.
Andy Cristoforo, day 7 of the main event. Are you sure? How? How has this happened?
Now the final table is officially in sight.
The World Series of Poker main event, if you go deep, it's the best show in town.
For Norman, Chad, and Kara Scott, I'm Lon McCarran. See you on day 7.